Welcome in, one and all, to the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios on the beautiful south side of Chicago. Oh, I just hit the wrong button there. Yeah. Like, follow, subscribe. We do this every day. It's talk radio for normal people. I basically perform a stream of consciousness. We call it a rant on all of the day's hot topics, current events, pop culture, whatever it is. If I'm watching something cool on TV, I try and mix that in as well. We have a chat room. It's lively, not chaotic. I wish it was more chaotic. And by that, I mean, you know how jealous I get as a streamer. I've been doing this a long time. We've got a core group of people. This is truly less of a public stream and more of a daily self-help meeting. That's what we are. But I get jealous when I see other streamers and you look at their chat rooms and it's like, I'm like, man, they're good. They ain't good. They ain't better than me. They just know how to do it. God, what a day. Happy Friday. It is hey, you know what? Let's celebrate. It's a Friday that's not a Friday the 13th. We've had two Friday the 13th this month. Or this year already, which is weird. We covered that. Hold on. I'm running late again today. I'm not hating these 1 o'clock starts. The show has jumped around, right? I mean, it was on at noon for a couple of years every day. And then, we switched it to 2 for a while to see if we could gain a little traction later in the afternoon. And then that didn't work because that kind of just screwed the whole day up. Because the whole day I'm like, yeah, I got to do a stream at 2. So, but I'm liking this one. This one might be a sweet spot because it allows me to do things, before and after. I don't know. Anyway, appreciate y'all being here. Happy Friday. Let's say hi to the chat room. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today. Hold on, but I want the chat room first. Who's first in? Look at this. I think this is a first in award winner. Ladies and gentlemen, today's first in king of the chat room. He planted the flag first, at least as far as I can see. It's Frankie B. Frankie B. Look at him. Now, Frankie B, that's a very important role in today's show. You are the first into the chat room. If you need any advice, you may want to confer with Queen Tyrande. She has been first in many times. She can give you the lay of the land as far as what's expected of you and your duties. None so much as today's executive producer. We've got an executive producer of today's show. Let's say thank you and a happy day to our executive producer, Peter the Great. It's always Peter. It's always Peter. It's always April. It's just, Jen, Mama B, you guys are all great. Thank you so much. Peter was the big tipper yesterday. Peter was the only tipper yesterday. But he tipped, man, and it helped. These difficult times. We do this show because you support it. That's how we're able to keep doing this show. So if you're ever compelled at some point to support this kind of talk radio that doesn't care how you voted, kind of talk radio that doesn't see everything through a political lens, if you feel compelled to support such nonsense, then please feel free to drop a little something in either the Cash App or the Venmo. And if you are the show's big tipper, you will be Monday's executive producer, just as today's executive producer is Peter. All right, who was first? I said who was first, right? Oh, my God. Frankie B was first, and I already forgot. Sorry. I blinked for a minute, Frankie. All right, let's see. Who else do we have? Peter is, of course, Peter's here. We got Barney is here. I'll scroll down. I only get like 5 names per thing. There's Tyrande. Well, what kept you, Tyrande? Tyrande's like 5th in today. Huh. All right, it's cool. We've also got Leslie. We've got Jen. Everybody's saying hi to each other in the chat room. I like that. Here's what we're going to get into. We got a couple of big things that I want to talk about. Okay. We're going to talk about this no kings deal. Yeah. We got another one of these no kings things happening. Apparently this is now the opposition. I'm not going to say the left-wing Democrat because quite frankly, I know a lot of dudes who are in unions here in Chicago who are going to the No Kings rally. And they are not what you'd call liberals. They're like pipe fitters and fucking electricians and shit. And they're going and they're going to march. So, at some point, maybe the No Kings thing was seen as a far left weirdo, kind of event. This whatever is happening tomorrow from coast to coast does not appear to be that. It appears to be that there are some real mainstream normal people getting involved, if for no other reason than to show sheer numbers. So we'll talk about that. We're going to get into that a little bit, but we've got other things too. We're going to listen to some audio here. We've got a couple of America's influencers, one of the old school and one of the new school. We're going to listen to some takes on some current events by Bob Costas. Yeah, he's the old school one. Bob Costas, are you digging Bob Costas's current role in the media as sort of the professor emeritus of, sports media coverage and all that? I enjoy his. I think Bob Costas is great. The crazy thing is Bob Costas isn't even 40 yet. Yeah, he's still. That was Bob Costas's thing his whole career. If you're old like me, you remember Bob Costas's thing his whole career was that he's only 19. But he was so young. Yeah, there's Robbie Bowen. Okay, that's my buddy Robbie. Sorry. When my good pals don't bother tuning into the stream and just call right in the middle of it. Like I haven't been doing this every day for 5 years. Thanks, Robbie. All right. Robbie's over there slinging deals for, I don't even know what company he works for. Odyssey. I think it's Odyssey. I think that's what they are now. All these radio companies have. You might remember Robbie Bowen from 105.3. He used to be our general sales manager or something. I don't know. He was just a dude I partied with and I like. I don't even consider him a salesperson. That's how good a salesperson he is. All right, moving on. What else are we going to talk about? I want to talk about this story that's very interesting. Bernie Sanders and some congressmen out of Texas have teamed up to create something called the Home Team Act. Okay, it concerns all our favorite professional sports teams. So we're going to talk about what the Home Team Act is. It's being talked about quite a bit here in Chicago, where we do the show. Because for some reason, I'm sorry, I'm having a bit of a gas bubble. Like I can feel it, and I'm kind of struggling. Give me a second. Oh, geez. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. Hiccups. Hiccups are coming. So I'm trying to fight them. You know how that works. Anyway, the Home Team Act, co-sponsored by Bernie Sanders and, again, some dude over there in Texas, down there in Texas, outside Austin. They've sponsored this bill. It's being called the Keep the Bears in Chicago bill. That's what it's being called around here. But it has nothing to do with people here. Why the hell is Bernie Sanders and some guy in Texas teaming up to push this bill they're calling the Home Team Act? Well, I'll tell you all about it. I'm not against it. Although in the context of this world, you may know, I am all for the Chicago Bears moving to Indiana. I am all for it. And we'll talk about it. But maybe the bill is different. Maybe the bill is something I can get behind, in the larger sense rather than just in the specific sense to the Bears. So we'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about a problem that I don't worry about this particular problem, although I guess this is a very important side effect of the larger problem. I got a 16-year-old kid. So I talk a lot about, I'm looking at this 16-year-old boy becoming a 16-year-old young man. I'm looking at his sensibilities. I'm looking at his worldview. And I talk a lot about how we are experimenting with this generation of Gen Z. We're not entirely sure how to weigh and balance the screen time and, the Gen Z stare and all that. So I talk a lot about that. There's a study out today, and it has a bunch of experts. And experts, by the way, when we're talking about the NFL draft and you call yourself an expert, you can just go blow that out your ass, okay? But when we're talking about medicine, yeah, okay, so if you're like a doctor at Johns Hopkins, yeah, you're an expert on this subject, okay? Yeah, I know what happened in 2019 and 2020 when we all decided that we knew more than doctors, but that was never me. I'm always like, dude, I was at parties while this dude was studying in the medical library at college. I am listening to him because this pain in my side. Anyway, You people. More on you people today. We're gonna listen to some things. Joe Rogan. We're gonna talk to Joe Rogan. We're gonna listen to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's got something to say about you people. That's right. Cracks in the MAGA armor aren't just cracks anymore. It's a full-on, like I said, it's a Lebanese wedding party. That's what it is right now. The dance floor has just collapsed on MAGA. Got more evidence of that. Anyway, the thing I want to talk about is this issue that's going on with young men experiencing erectile dysfunction. And we're going to talk about why these doctors are saying that this is a very real thing. And especially, if you have any care for a young man, you might want to pay attention to this before they get into their prime, years or whatever. Anyway, interesting story. We're going to talk about that too. What else are we going to get into? Oh, Maddie's going to join us today. That's right. Maddie's going to join us today because she did some legwork on something we were talking about yesterday. We were discussing, I think I just offhandedly mentioned how I just can't wait for this, Succession style, all intrigue, palace intrigue, a movie about the Trump family. That is absolutely going to come. It's absolutely going to come. We talked about some of the plot lines, that we're going to have. We know that Donald loves Jared, and we know that means that Eric and Don Jr. hate Jared. And we know that, Ivanka is probably having an affair with, who? J.D. Vance. Let's do that. Why not? Everybody's having affairs with J.D. Vance. It's the guy liner. It's got to be the guy liner is what I think. Anyway. Maddie's going to join us. She did the legwork. She cast the film. She found some stuff. People have already tried to cast this film. So we're going to go through that. We're going to cast the Trump family film with Maddie. What else are we going to talk about today? Okay, whatever. We got some videos. You know how we do. We got a bunch of stuff we may get to, we may not. I just don't see the point this early in the show of promising things that I'll probably get bored of in 3 hours and be like, all right, guys, it's Friday. Let's go home. Hold on. Give me 1 second here, guys. I got to do something. By the way, did you like? Did you like? Did you follow? Did you subscribe? Did you forward? Did you help the algorithm on this show at all today? Please do if you haven't. That would be awesome. All right. All right, there we are. We're back. Anybody new in the chat room? Let me do that now. Let me check on that. Nope, all Peter and Jen. Okay, this is good. So this is what we're going to start with. We're going to talk right here out of the box about the No Kings rallies that are happening tomorrow from coast to coast. Jen, looks like Jen's going to go out there. She says, I'll be there the second year in a row. Let me tell you, yes, there are union guys and military and tons of boomers. Yeah, this one tomorrow seems like it is a little bit different than the way the other ones had been branded. And the reason is because all the other No Kings events that we have seen have been met with in the weeks leading up to incredible branding by right wing, by a unified MAGA voice, whether it's, Joe Rogan scoffing at these things or, Benny Johnson, what they were all unified. Candace, now they're not. They're not. And we know this because we've seen it. Hold on. Sorry. There is something going on with my boy. So I want to make sure that I check all of my texts. So that means don't just be texting today. I am going to be checking all of them. What was I saying? Okay. So it doesn't seem like this No Kings event had the negative branding that all the other ones had that might keep fence sitters home because they don't want to be one of those people. That's one of the things that I have noticed. As a matter of fact, I've noticed like there's support from circles of MAGA, former circles of MAGA, that you would think would never be rallying people to show up for these No Kings things. And as I said earlier, I know union guys here. We're a big union city. Everybody's a union pipe fitter or a union, bricklayer or a union construction worker or whatever it is. Everybody here is union. And these are all working class dudes. These aren't libtards, okay? These aren't, they don't have a problem with a Tesla. They'd love to afford a Tesla. They can't afford a Tesla. because these are the working guys. And these are the people who, when you look at the elections the last couple times around, these are the Rust Belt workers. These are the ones that Trump and MAGA won over. They're not anymore. They're not. They're going to show up en masse tomorrow. Chicago, where I am here, we were talking to Maddie, and maybe we'll get into this a little bit more with Maddie because Maddie's going to be attending hers as well. She's like, you should go. There's like a bunch of them in Chicago. There is. There's like every suburb in Chicago has one. And then there's a massive one in downtown Chicago. That'll be the one that you'll see on Fox News and CNN with the helicopter shots. That's going to be massive. But honestly, when you think of the collective numbers, when there are another 30 or so of these demonstrations happening in the surrounding suburbs, I mean, the sheer force of numbers of people, American citizens, who in this time of war, who in this time of economic depression, who in this time of endless silliness, will be taking time on their Saturdays to go and stop out there and join or be a part of this. I think it could be unprecedented. I think it could be, because of the time, because of the microcosm, because of the cracks in the unified branding from MAGA, because of all of that, this could be a really big thing tomorrow. And Maddie's like, you should go. And I'm like, fuck that. What? What? Are you insane? Do you know me? First of all, any positive energy that I would have would be completely ruined by, trying to find a place to park. Before I even get out of the car with my stupid sign or whatever, I'd already be raging about fucking idiots. And no, it just wouldn't work. I don't need this. I'm not at a point in my life. We never had any good protests. There was nothing good. What did we have? And I'm talking about something that, under 30. So like in the 90s, 80s and 90s, we never had any good protests. Nothing. We were mad about everything. That's the problem. Gen X didn't know where to start. We're like, hey, you guys should hit the streets and protest, your generation. And we're like, about what? Everything sucks. That was Gen X. So maybe that's why. All right, let's see here. Anybody else in the chat room going to be going? There we go. Peter says, Maddie wants us all to go to the one in Louisiana so we can be Rant United. Oh, that would be nice. I hope you two have fun. What an aspirational thought that could be. That we could actually, that's wonderful. That's why Maddie's been a great boon to this show. All right, so let's talk about the No Kings thing. We'll go over, let's talk about Texas, okay? Here, where did I pull this up? Okay. Hold on, wait a second. Hold on. I closed the page that I had open. All right. I had a big page of all the Dallas-Fort Worth locations, and I accidentally closed it. Let's see here. The major rallies in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've already told you. We got it. Look, if you're in Chicago, if you're in the Chicago area, if you are in northern Illinois, and by the way, I shouldn't even stop it there because there are rallies in every rural community, every red rural community from Indiana to Iowa. I mean, it's going to be people. Not me, though. I am staying home. I'm going to get snacks, and I will watch this all unfold on local TV or probably live streams. But I'm not putting myself in that. You guys, I told you like years ago, going back like 10 years, 15 years, I used to intentionally get stuck in traffic on my way home. I used to intentionally get stuck in Black Lives Matter protests here in Chicago. They were everywhere. And I used to intentionally drive towards them just to get stuck in the traffic. Why? Because I like to watch. I just sit in my car. I felt like I was a part of it. I'm honking my horn. I'm like, woo! I didn't even know what I was supporting. But I love the idea of communities coming together for a cause, not being trampled. We, the people, right? Not us versus them, the people. No. So anyway, I used to get caught. So I ain't opposed to the idea of protesting. I'm just old, and I'm opposed to the idea of finding a parking spot. All right, so tomorrow in Dallas, it says here, the major rallies, the Dallas No Kings protest, that's going to be kicking off at noon, scheduled from noon to 3 p.m. That's going to be at Dallas City Hall Plaza, 1500 Marilla Street. This is the primary regional event. Organizers recommend arriving early due to expected crowds. You can register in advance at the No Kings Dallas Mobilize page. I guess that's a thing. Just put that in Google. No Kings Dallas Mobilize page. You should probably be okay. In Fort Worth, there is a protest as well. Another expected large one kicking off at 2 p.m. This one will go from 2 p.m. to 5 o'clock. It is at General Worth Square, 900 Main Street there in Fort Worth. Okay, let's see here. Several other communities. Yeah, let's see some of the other communities. Why won't you give me the other communities? The other page had them. Oh, here we go. All right. Arlington, tomorrow in Arlington, Texas, 700 East Abrams, 10 a.m. All right, so I'm just going to list them off for you. Arlington, 10 a.m., 700 East Abrams Street. Irving, again, right next to, this is actually kind of interesting because if the Dallas main protest is big, and then you also have an Arlington protest, which Arlington will be big. There's a million people in Arlington. Arlington's like a mega suburb. Arlington, Texas is like the size of 10 Chicago suburbs. If you took the entire western suburbs, that's Arlington. Crazy how big that is. Irving at 10 a.m. also. That's going to be Irving City Hall, 825 West Irving Boulevard. Up in Denton, this will probably be the one that'll have the Reyna family in attendance, one would expect. In Denton, that's another 10 a.m. kickoff. That's at the Denton Courthouse right there on the square. Plano, this will be the one my son won't be at. No, he won't. Maybe. I don't know. No, you know why? My kid's working. My kid's already inside the matrix. He's not going to be participating. He's going to be going to his job. Got big plans for him. Don't need him, I would encourage anything that he wanted to do. But yeah, I happen to know his work schedule, so he's working tomorrow. All right, so Plano is going to be at noon, and that's at the northeast corner of Parker and Preston. Okay. All right. So what's at the corner of Parker and Preston? I think there's like a Tom Thumb there. Well, it's Plano. So, chances are there's a Tom Thumb, a Kroger, or a Walmart right there. But no, I'm picturing that because it's sort of my son's area. All right. Let's see here. Frisco is also going to have one. Frisco is the early starter. So if you want to hit a number of these throughout the day, you might want to get to Frisco first. That's going to begin at 9 a.m. The Frisco rally, just 2 hours, planned from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's going to be at the northeast corner of Parker. Nope, that's Plano. The Frisco rally, 9 a.m. to 11, is at FM 423 and Old Newman Road. FM 420, is that Main Street? I think FM 423 is that Main Street? I don't know. And I used to live in Frisco. I know what FM 423 is, but what is it? What do we, is it Main Street? Maybe. McKinney at 2:30 to 4:30 up in McKinney, Highway 380, west of US 75. Highway 380, west of 75. That's Portillo's. I think that's right there where the Portillo's is. Right? Now maybe Portillo's is a little bit further north. Garland from 11 a.m. tomorrow until 12:30 p.m. 2949 North George Bush Freeway. Jesus, look at Texas stepping up. This is not good. This is red state. All of these little places think they're going to draw people. I don't know that this was the case before. No Kings rally in Garland, 11 to 12:30. 2949 North George Bush Freeway. Carrollton from 10 to noon, 1901 East Beltline Road. That's Carrollton. Allen, noon to 2. Waters Creek on West Bethany Road. Waters Creek on West Bethany Road. And South Lake. Oh my God. South Lake. Woo! The hell is the billionaire class doing getting involved in this? Well, they don't like to be left out. The billionaires don't like to be left out. All right. The No Kings Rally in South Lake will be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Ruston and Family Park. Ruston and Family Park. Flower Mound is the last one that we have listed here. Flower Mound will be having a No Kings Rally between 2 and 4 between Long Prairie and Morris on Cross Timbers. That sounds very British, doesn't it? It's going to be at Alpine at Surrey upon Tyne. It's a weird address. All right, here is some important information that is being issued to anybody who is hoping to attend any of the No Kings rallies tomorrow in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Organizers are emphasizing that these are nonviolent demonstrations. Weapons are strictly prohibited at all times. Second Amendment! Second Amendment! I mean, fine if you want to be a dick, but the point is, let's be cool. The point is be cool. This is about a show of opposition to the way things are currently being run, okay? This is about opposition to the Epstein cover-up. This is about opposition to a war in Iran that nobody wanted and nobody was promised. This was not one of them promises made, promises kept. It's the direct opposite. This is in opposition to rising gas prices. This is in opposition to endless corruption. This is in opposition to everything that we have seen over the past 18 months or so. Okay? This isn't a bunch of liberals with pink hair. This is about Americans going, no, fuck you. You're done. Fool me once. Except in this case, it's like fool me 3 times for some of you, but okay, it's all right. I'm just happy to have you on board. All right, that's all going on tomorrow. Tomorrow, the No Kings rallies all over Dallas-Fort Worth. You can find them very, very easily. Not a problem. Peter taking shots? Peter says, I think the South Lake one is called No Karens. Okay, all right, maybe. Byron's got a show tomorrow. He's not going to be able to attend. Otherwise, Byron says he'd be out there egging retards. I love the mojo, but you know that ain't true, Byron. You know that ain't true because you know that ain't the vibe anymore. You'd get your fucking ass kicked. You'd have that Jacob Lang thing where he's going to be, remember that dude in Minneapolis who went out there? He's going to egg retards, in a sense. And what happened to him? He was crying and he's begging for his life. It's fucking different times, Byron. Time to shut up with them hot takes again, my guy. I'm sorry. I mean, I wish we didn't have to do this. Like I said, every crazy fucking lefty moron is going to be elected. And you guys did it. That's because of you guys. Because you guys went so far right that now the pendulum's got to fucking even it out for 10 years. And we're going to go far left. Maybe not. Maybe not if the right people show up for these No Kings rallies, right? If we stop allowing the craziest, most extreme voices in both parties drive the bus. So let's get normal people involved and let's start behaving like a civilized nation again. All right. Maddie, Byron getting Jake Langed at a No Kings rally is the video. No, I hate Byron. Byron, I'd be standing there in front of you, trying to talk reason into these people. I think we know how that'll go. But I'll be there. I'll be like, hey, gang, come on. Byron's funny. You gotta allow for funny. And then, they'll be pantsing them and stuff. Good thing you got that Trace Adkins show you got to work at. Or what? I don't know what you're doing. Byron, who's playing tomorrow? What show you got to work? Byron does security at some of the finest concert venues all around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We all, when we walk into these places, we all put our lives in Byron's hands. All right, let's see. Where else are we? Here was a thing that happened yesterday that was weird and how apropos for a couple of days before a No Kings rally. Trump's putting his name on money. Trump's putting his name on money, I think, because, should there ever be any disagreement over money, Trump will be able to answer the question, that's not your money. Your name isn't on it. He'll be able to go, yes, it is. It's my money. It's all my money because my name is on it. Doesn't that seem like something Trump would think? Even if, on a very, base level. That's probably how he looks at it now. All the money is his because his name is on it. Isn't that the law? My name is on it. If I put my name on my underwear, it's my underwear. Same with money. So yeah, he's fucking putting his name on money, which couple of things about that. Okay. First of all, who the fuck cares? Who uses money? Right. I don't think, who cares? Secondly, though, it'll be one circulation, and then whoever's in charge of the treasury next time is going to put their name back on it, and it'll all be forgotten. But those Trump bills will be like they'll be collector's items. He's just created for 50 years from now. Trump just created a new hot Honus Wagner card in the coin and bill collecting world. I don't know. Is it bill collecting world? I don't know. I know there's bill collectors, and I know that they run this world. So yeah, Trump money. He's signing it. They say it's 250th anniversary of America, so that's why the president's signing it. No president's ever put their signature on an American piece of currency before. So why? Why again? Because 250. Okay, so why is the president putting? Because it's 250. Okay, all right, so we're just going to do this then. This is... All right, never mind. Well, it's fine. Fucking who cares? Surprised, he wanted his picture. He wanted his picture, and they put the brakes on that. They're like, sir, that's a little much. Hey, he did do something funny, though. The president was, well, he is funny. He is the funniest. I don't know if it's intentionally, but he is certainly the most entertaining president in the history of the United States to watch. Just riff with an open mic and rolling cameras. There's never been anybody who was more of, what's he going to say next? So I want to play this for you because this is it just speaks to the humanity of this man. So Trump was asked a heavy question about dead people and starving people in Iran. Right? A real heavy question. And, I don't know that he answered it in the most appropriate way, at least not in the way that we'd like our president to. But let's give this a listen. This is this is okay. Here we go from Fox News. This is the president being asked a very difficult question. Let's see where he takes it.
I think it is alarming that we have not been able to see or hear from any of the Iranian people. And I imagine that.
All right. So the question here is, I think it's alarming. Well, I'm playing it again.
I think it is alarming that we have not been able to see or hear from any of the Iranian people. And I imagine that is because their internet is shut down. And I think there is some general worry about them. Obviously, their government treats them terribly.
Okay. There's some real worry about these people, Mr. President. This war has caused, real hardship for innocents here. And they're starving, and we're getting reports. All right, this is what she's addressing the president about.
We killed tens of thousands of them in January. Like Kayleigh, I would never ask you to tell us something that is classified, but do you have any insight as to how they are doing? Do they have drinking water? Do they have food?
Right, I do.
It's upsetting.
I do. But first, you remember when we had lunch years ago in the base of Trump Tower?
I do. Very serious, starving children, killing tens of thousands. But first, do you remember when we had lunch years ago? This fucking guy is unbelievable. I do. Listen to how disingenuous he is. That's not a real. His response when she says, she asks a very serious question about the state of humanity on the streets in Iran to the president of the United States, who is, at least morally, to a lot of us, responsible for their welfare at this point, seeing as how he seems to be the guy that's ordering all the bombs being dropped on their houses. Okay, so this is a real kind of deep question that statesmen have always had to grapple with, always had to answer for, have always had to work through the moral dilemma of what price war. And he wants to talk about a lunch they had a couple of years back.
Have drinking water? Do they have food?
Right, I do.
It's upsetting.
I do. But first, you remember when we had lunch years ago in the base of Trump Tower when it was a brand new
It's a
building?
long time ago, yes.
A long time ago. And you haven't changed.
Oh.
You have not changed. Now, I'm not allowed to say this. It's the end of my political career, but you may be even better looking, okay? So I don't know what you're doing.
I mean, you guys, look, I know I'm the guy that's always like, don't be petty. Don't bite on everything. But when we just have these, well, I guess it's not as clear. Here's the problem. I look at that and I go, that is a clear indication that this man is a fucking con man, that he does not want to answer the question, even though it is a very serious question that deserves the respect of the leader of the free world. No, he would much rather make it lighter. Because let's not talk about all the things that people fucking hate me for. Let's talk about what got me here. My incessant charm. Remember? Yeah, I do. I do. I know about that. Yeah. But first, you remember when we had lunch? Remember how hot you fucking looked? It's going to be the end of my political career. Dude, you have been convicted of 37 crimes, okay? 37 felonies in a New York court. That didn't end your political career. I don't think telling some chick that used to work for you that you thought she was hot when you hired her is all that big of a deal at this point. It ain't. Moving on. All right. Trump money and Trump not really wanting to answer. Oh, here's another thing. Here's another example. Let's do this. So we'll show this video because this was funny. Thank you to Sam the mailman. He sent it to me. Thank you, Sammy. CPAC, right? You know, we're pointing out all of these consistent, again, not cracks, Lebanese wedding party issues that we're seeing come up with MAGA. CPAC is going on now. That's the granddaddy of the craziness, right? CPAC is where all the big money is, and the big money gives the money to all the crazy little money, and then the crazy little money goes off and does whatever. Jacob Lang type shit. So CPAC is where it all begins. It's the golden goose. And it's run by Matt Schlapp, a guy who jerked off an intern in a car in New Orleans. He's also the leader of CPAC, and I think they sat him on the bench for like a week after he jerked off an intern. Yeah, dude, he likes penis, I guess. Well, let's just say he doesn't have any, he doesn't really have any problems with penis. And apparently sometimes when in New Orleans after a couple of drinks with an intern, he might try and masturbate that intern in the car. Not allegedly, settledly. Settledly. So that's who Matt Schlapp is. And apparently he's back because we learned one thing. It is that people who support Trump and people who support this right-wing nonsense all have really short memories. And even if they don't, they have no moral foundation. So they don't give a fuck that Matt Schlapp, the guy that's up there preaching about family values and about how the liberals are all twisted, is actually in his downtime jerking off interns in a car in New Orleans. I don't care. So anyway, this happened at CPAC. CPAC yesterday. I don't even know. Is this like the big CPAC weekend? Is this like, you know, once a year, dudes go and book a hotel room in some fucking Ramada in Tampa and then just go nuts for a weekend? Or I don't even know. Washington, maybe this is. I don't know. See, I'm not in the bubble. I'm not in either bubble. I don't know anything about this shit. Anyway, let's watch this. Here it is. This is Matt Schlapp. He is the guy who runs CPAC. This is him opening CPAC yesterday. Let's see here. That's Matt. This is Matt Schlapp right here. This is not the guy that Matt Schlapp tried to jerk off in a car. This is not the guy that then accused Matt Schlapp, and I think there were phone calls and texts and stuff. Yeah. So this is not the guy that got jerked off. But this is the guy that jerked off another guy in the car in New Orleans. Okay, so he's opening CPAC because he's the top voice. He's the leader of this group. Again, the guy who jerked off another guy, a kid, like a 19-year-old intern, tried to jerk him off. All right, you get it. Here you go. This is Matt Schlapp opening CPAC yesterday. Didn't go the way he wanted.
How many of you would like to see impeachment hearings? No. That was the wrong answer. Let's try it again.
He's trying to play it off. He's like, all right. Well, first of all, dumbass. He's probably dreaming about jerking off some kid in the front row. He wasn't really paying attention to the way he phrased that question. That's not the way you phrase it, right? He didn't. How many of you, you're at CPAC, you know that there are cracks in the Trump war machine, and you're going to open up with who wants to see an impeachment? Of course, people are fucking pissed, man. So Matt Schlapp tries to play it off. It's very awkward up there. Watch this again.
How many of you would like to see impeachment hearings? No. That was the wrong answer.
Want to get away?
Let's try it again. How many of you would like to see impeachment hearings? No. Can someone bring some coffee out for the...
Yeah,
we've got to keep this House
mindless
majority.
That's the spokesperson for Big Republican Money right there. That's the spokesperson for Big Republican Money is getting upset because the puppets aren't acting the way he expects them to act. You fucking puppets. You know you don't want impeachment, but yeah, we do. No, you don't. Okay, sorry. Here's my debit card. So yeah. So it's all falling apart. Yes, CPAC. Yeah, we do. We actually do, Matt. Here, I want to address this. This is Rogan. This is Rogan from yesterday. Here, let me see if I can find this. Rogan from yesterday talking about. Nope, this isn't the one. Hold on. Sorry. You know, we'll just go to YouTube. We'll just go to the YouTube because YouTube isn't as irritating as Mediaite.
They had been pretending for so long. I remember.
All right, here. This is Rogan from yesterday. And again, 2 days before the No Kings rally, whereas before other rallies of this kind, the tidal wave of anti-rally or protest would have been overwhelming. And we're just not seeing that the way other rallies were sort of treated. I should get rid of Byron. Sorry. All right, so here, this is from Rogan yesterday, talking about current MAGA, talking about what happened, talking about where he's at. He's speaking with Dave Smith. I'm going to have to fast forward a little.
I remember coming on like a few years ago, and we would joke about how Brian Stelter would always, whenever he talked about you, he would always
give me a sec. I know exactly.
Manage society.
It's a big if that you is really well. This is something that I'm in for majorities of the American people, and that's why even though Donald Trump has shattered his coalition by lying us into this stupid war on behalf of a foreign country, that coalition is still ripe for someone else to pick it up and run with it. And that's kind of what I'm hoping. I hope Thomas Massie runs for president. I think, by the way, they're doing a big money bomb for Thomas Massie on March 30th. And I think him winning re-election in Congress is like the most important political election in the country right now, because he's done nothing wrong except actually stand up for America first.
Now, remember, MAGA programmed you to hate Thomas Massie, or at least that was the control that Trump had a year ago. A year and a half, whatever it was. They used to be able to effectively marginalize the appeal of people like Thomas Massie because they had MAGA. MAGA was united. They were all in lockstep with Thomas Massie is bad. But things changed. Things changed with Pam Bondi, endlessly lying on Fox News about, I've got it on my desk and we're going to release them. It became clear to even the dumbest out there that something wasn't right, that something didn't smell. This fish had gone bad. And people started to realize that they had been played. All right, let's continue.
And for all the stuff that Donald Trump and Tulsi Gabbard and all these people ran on. And he's gotten the Israel lobby and the Adelsons, but I repeat myself, have been pouring millions of dollars into his race to try to unseat him for the crime of not going along with the Epstein cover-up and not going along with another stupid war and having some like fiscal sanity. So I hope he wins.
Imagine those being three negatives. Imagine those being three negatives that people are saying he's not MAGA.
Yeah. Well, then, okay.
What
Well,
is
then,
MAGA then?
well, if that's like, I don't know, like my position is always like, if you're saying, if not supporting covering up the Epstein files or not supporting a stupid war of choice, a war of aggression on behalf of Israel means I'm not MAGA, then okay, I'm not MAGA. I'm not attached to the you know, the phrase "Make America Great Again." I don't care. Then
But
fine.
if that phrase sucks, here's the thing. Like, first of all, America is great.
Yep.
You make America greater.
Always
I'm
has
down.
been, motherfucker.
But make America great again, and then it becomes a movement of a bunch of fucking dorks. Because a lot of them are dorks. A lot of them, these
You
really
are.
weird, fucking uninteresting, unintelligent people that have got something they cling to, and there's a lot of people that are just real, genuine patriots, and they're all lumped into this one group, and you got to accept the dorks too. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Like, the concept of making America great is a great idea. But as soon as you have a fucking team and you allow anybody to join up, you don't even have tryouts for your team.
Yeah.
So you've got a bunch of fucking dipshits that are running around spouting out opinions, and you have to go along.
By the way, dipshits, who a lot of us normal people have been calling dipshits for years, but you people were like forwarding them and, you know, amplifying them. It's not like they just became dipshits, guys. They've been dipshits the whole time.
On with them because they're MAGA, and then you've got bots online that are probably from fucking Indonesia or
Probably. It's a stated fact. We know that MAGA is amplified by crazy foreign influences.
Russia or wherever, and they're pretending they're MAGA and they're saying crazy shit. So that's a part of MAGA too. You fucked up by becoming a part of a group.
Yeah.
Whether
No, that's
it's a
right.
Republican group, a Democrat group, a MAGA group, a fucking woke group, whatever it is, you fucked up by being in a group.
Yeah, what is George Carlin said people are great as individuals.
Yeah.
But when they get in a group, man, they're the worst things in the world. And that's why,
All
it should be about
There you have it. Cracks in the armor, man. He's absolutely right. MAGA is dorks. The people who are still... I did a post a couple of weeks ago after Trump's Kentucky rally. Did you see them fucking people? There's nobody fuckable still wearing a Make America Great Again hat. I promise you that. Unless it's some stripper chick who's, trying to impress her sugar daddy because she likes free cocaine. Maybe that chick. That's it. But there's nobody, you're not going to see anybody at Walmart wearing a Make America Great Again hat that you want to fuck. That's my statement. Hot take of the day. It's like the absolute weirdest and grossest portion of society is still hanging on and supporting this bullshit. Doesn't mean you can't be right wing. Doesn't mean you can't be, still hating blue-haired liberals and, liberals and lesbians and whatever it is that you want to hate. Fine, whatever. Do that thing. But do the rest of us a solid and at least admit that this fucking shit has gone off the rails. Okay, and now a little connecting to yesterday. I told you this story. I wanted to play this for you as well. We talked about the International Olympic Committee's decision yesterday to make it a rule that if you were born a man, you cannot compete in women's sports. This was, a couple of years ago. This is one of them issues that a lot of people would have not put any thought into and would have just aligned themselves with the partisan ideology that, what do you mean there's nothing wrong with a guy that used to have a dick boxing a girl? Trans are just as equal, all of that. The weird trans conversation went off the rails in this country for 5 years, and we were never able to address it like reasonable, common sense based people. It all just became, you can't have any opinion about them because you're not them. It became that. It became anybody who was like, let's tap the brakes on this trans conversation, that person saying that, me, suddenly we're anti-trans? What are you talking about? I have really friendly conversations with the trans dude who monitors the self-checkout at the Kroger. Yeah, there was a trans dude. Here's the problem with trans dude at the Kroger off Mockingbird there in Texas. Every day. How you doing? I'm doing good. I talk to him. I'm looking at a dude who looks like, he's in deep purple, but he's got like red lipstick and it's definitely a chick haircut. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. But it didn't matter. We used to joke. We'd talk. He'd help me with shit. Because, sometimes when you're self-scanning, the light lights up and then somebody's got... He was always Johnny on the spot. or Janie on the spot. I don't know. I'm not anti-trans, but I am pro-common sense. And so when the International Olympic Committee yesterday decided that they were going to create a law that would ban biologically born men from competing in women's sports, when they did this, a lot of people around the world, not around the world, in this country, a lot of people on the left, let's be honest, a lot of people on the left and in the trans community accused the International Olympic Committee of bowing down to Trump's dictatorial mandates. Because Trump a couple of months ago said he called on the IOC to do just this. And they did. And this is what I keep telling you. Even a blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while. Everything that Trump does isn't terrible. This is actually smart. And no less a common sense influencer of the highest order, Bob Costas. Everybody knows Bob Costas is smart. As a matter of fact, the big complaint on Bob Costas is that maybe he's too smart and a little smug, right? I don't know. I like Bob. I've always liked Bob. So Bob Costas was asked that question last night. And oh, by the way, before we do this,
these two antiperspirants can
hold on. The sound is going to kill me. This is from CNN. Bob Costas was on CNN last night on the subject of the International Olympic Committee banning trans athletes.
We're to face the Olympics.
Hold on. Let me pull this up. What is CNN doing? I don't watch enough CNN to really know when this happened, but when did Anderson Cooper start dressing like Walter Winchell in the 1940s? Have you checked in on Anderson Cooper's show lately? He's wearing like an old-timey newsman white shirt, no jacket, no suit. It's just a white shirt with a tie, and it looks like it's a little bit loose. It's also fucking performative, and it only goes to show that CNN is not learning. CNN is still trying to put out a performance. The entirety of the new CNN Anderson Cooper setup looks so phony. He's in a newsroom. There's people behind him. Are they real journalists? Is that real news gathering going on behind him? Or is it just interns who are told to stand there for an hour and look busy? It is so performative. And he's talking into an old-timey microphone. Yeah, check it out. Don't stay, because, that might translate into ratings. But check out what Anderson Cooper is doing. It's so desperate and weird. It looks cool. Aesthetically, I'll tell you, it looks cool. Like, I was like, oh, that looks cool. But then the next thought is, it doesn't need to be that. TV hides the microphones. It's always been the thought. Now they've got the microphone here. Where's his jacket? Why does he look like he just ran in off the street because there's big breaking news happening? That's the vibe. And then I got mad. I'm like, fuck them, because I hate performative news. Anyway, they're trying. 9:00 they're doing so. All of a sudden there's a new guy on CNN, which is so weird because CNN didn't really, when CNN would in the past drop a new guy into their lineup, their major primetime lineup or whatever, there would be great fanfare. It was who's replacing Larry King, Piers Morgan or something. But outside of that, all of their shows were promoted from within. Like Don Lemon, he matriculated all through CNN from middays to and then finally you get your shot. So that's usually what they do, which is why it's weird, because now there's a guy at 9:00 on CNN who didn't matriculate that way. He just came from somewhere, and I think he's in LA. I think he's like an LA guy, but he's a CNN LA guy now. But it's not like CNN LA, but I think he's doing the show from LA. His name is Alex something. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind on him yet. All I know is he's new, and new is different, and I don't like different. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, this is him. This is the new guy who came out of nowhere on CNN. He's sitting down with Bob Costas, and he asks him about that International Olympic Committee decision from yesterday to make it a rule that trans athletes cannot perform. Here's Bob Costas. And I wanted to play Bob Costas because I think Bob Costas has, wrong one. Because I think Bob Costas, over the course of his 50 years now, I think he has always shown himself to be measured and reasonable. And, let's hear his take on this and then fall back into your right corner or your left corner. But here's Bob Costas on that question.
So many years. this news today about the IOC basically banning trans athletes, that there's going to be a genetic test.
Yeah.
Your reaction to that and this very complicated issue?
Give me enough time to address this so I'm not misunderstood. There are people who use this issue cynically for political purposes, and they're demonizing people who happen to be trans, who should be treated with respect and dignity and understanding. However, common sense is not transphobic. There's a reason why the high school champions don't compete with the college champions. There is a reason why no trans man who was once a woman and has become a man has ever competed successfully with men.
Okay, isn't that the best fucking shut your mouth point you ever heard? If there is no advantage, okay, because that's the problem. It's not that we want to penalize people who are living their lives in a different way than we do. That's not it. It's that there is an obvious advantage. And by pointing the advantage out, we are not demeaning them or their situation. We are just simply saying, because of your situation, we have these new kinds of situations we have to address. And common sense says you can lift more weight than her. That's what he's talking about here. There has never been somebody who was born a woman and then transitioned to a man who then went on to excel at a man's sport. That has never happened. It has happened quite frequently the other way, where someone born a boy transitions to a woman, and then suddenly he's like the best woman in that category. That happens a lot. And that's the common sense of it all. We have to look at this and say, that's not fair. It's not fair. All the love, all the respect, all the compassion to these people. We're not looking to be haters. But it's not fair. It's not fair to women athletes. And my God, nobody is standing up for women athletes here.
In the Olympics, if Caitlin Clark could play in the NBA, everybody would applaud it. That'd be an incredible thing. But if the last guy on the bench of an NBA team went to the WNBA and started averaging 40 points a game, everyone would know that is BS. There's a reason why Sugar Ray Leonard, who was a contemporary of Mike Tyson, didn't fight Mike Tyson. They were in different weight classes. There is a reason why there are men's and women's sports, and why Title IX was one of the truly progressive pieces of legislation in the best sense of the word progressive under the Nixon administration. It changed everything. I had a sister who never played a single organized sport. One generation later, 2 children of my own. My daughter played just about as many organized sports as my son. That's a great thing. It doesn't make any sense to have a swimmer who was the 472nd ranked swimmer when he was a man at Penn, either winning or coming close to winning against women a year and a half after transitioning. If that's what the person wants to do, that person should be treated with dignity and respect. But there ought to be common sense, and common sense is not transphobic.
And this policy is common sense.
Yes, this policy, the way Kirsty Coventry laid it out from Lausanne in the clip that you played is exactly correct.
And
all right.
Get your whitest smile.
The takeaway for me on that, and the thing that I'm going, common sense is not transphobic, okay? Please do not conflate the two. Common sense is not transphobic. All right. Let's see. You know what I want to do here? I want to take a break. I want to take a quick break here. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to Maddie. Maddie's going to be on the show. She's going to, she's got a bunch of stuff she wants to talk about. But what I'm interested in is that yesterday we talked about the Trump movie. If there's got to be a Trump movie, a Trump series, I don't know, Succession. I miss Succession so much. There's got to be a Succession-like Trump series in the making. So we were struggling a little bit, not because we couldn't come up with anything, but it's hard on the spot to come up with a really good cast. I asked the question, who's going to play the Trump family in our dream Trump series? Well, Maddie did a little legwork. She found out that this has already been done. So we're going to go through some of the choices. She also wants to talk a little bit about RFK Jr. and what's going on with him, plus anything else. All right, we'll talk about all of that and more with Maddie on the other side. Take a quick break. Back after this, okay? Back after this. All right, we're back. All right. Can I tell you why I keep coming back to do this every single day? Every single day for 5 years, I've been coming back to do this. You want to know why? Because of shit like this. Byron suggests just give the trannies their own sport, he says, like ring toss. See what I mean? That's why. I mean, we may have to put Byron in a camp, a re-education camp, but at least he won't go to the chamber. He's too funny. That's great. All right. Let's see here. Oh, before I went to that little break here, we're going to talk to Maddie here in a minute. Hold on, Maddie. Before I went to that break, I was talking about, the whole number of things, the way this country is changing. And honestly, the change, whatever. I think we've crossed the Rubicon. I think we are what we are. All I want now is that man in the White House in handcuffs. That's really all I want. I don't care. I can vote for anybody. Okay, I'll vote for Ted Cruz. Does it mean he's in handcuffs? Anyway. And I've been sort of giving examples today about how the ramp up to tomorrow's No Kings nationwide protests happening in communities all over this great country of ours, that those protests tomorrow seem to be a little bit different than the ones in the past. And I attribute this to, obvious cracks in the once, formidable wall of MAGA. It's just not there anymore. I played you a little clip from CPAC of Matt Schaub, who runs CPAC. He's the guy who's in charge of keeping all the monkeys in line for the big billionaires who put money into all the big little monkey projects. That's how that works. So I showed you a tape of Matt Schaub, who is, again, the director of CPAC. And gay hand job enthusiast. Gay hand job enthusiast, Matt Schaub. So he's there. It's in Grapevine? Yeah, I saw that in the chat room. I had no idea the CPAC thing. I said some funky Ramada outside Tampa, but no, it's actually at the Grapevine Resort. Nice. So I played a tape of him not getting the answer he wanted during a call and response to the crowd at the opening of CPAC yesterday. He was like, hey, who wants to see an impeachment? And everybody's like, yeah, let's impeach the motherfucker. And he's like, no, wrong answer. No. Bad peasants. Bad peasants. That's what he said. But I just found this. This is from today out there in Grapevine at the CPAC. Here's a young man, the young CPAC Republican Texan Grapevine going, supporting the young man. Well, that voter block, that's the voter block that won back in 2024. Let's check in with them at this weekend CPAC. Here he is. Here's a CPAC attendee.
I think they're going to get destroyed in the midterms. I get the vibe. A lot of people I knew who just voted for Trump because they thought it was cool in high school or just being like, I can't stand the guy. I think they're going to get destroyed in the midterms.
That's kind of the vibe. Can't stand the guy. Yeah, I know. I voted for him. I thought it was cool. He is definitely not cool. If you voted for Trump or if you supported all of this MAGA stuff because you thought it was cool, I gotta wonder what all the women that look like, second tier MILF porn actresses with their duck lips and everybody wearing the same outfits, everybody wearing the same branded t-shirts, everybody just endlessly whipping out their plastics so that they could give a billionaire their hard-earned money. What's not cool about that? It's not your fault. It's not these people. Look, you're not special. You are not special to have been duped by this guy. The tale is old as this great country of ours. We have words for it. They're called carpetbaggers. They're called city slickers. They're called guys who run through little rural towns with their medicine wagon, selling elixirs and potions and all the things that'll serve you. It's been happening forever. Rich guys from New York coming down to poor people and lying to them. And the poor people going, that sounds good. He's one of the good ones. So that's what happened again. It's the playbook he used. He didn't invent anything. He's the salesman who went, how do I get to the stupid people? Because the stupid people will believe my bullshit. That's the question he asked, okay? So now we're all learning this. Some of us knew it a long time ago, but now some of you are going, oh, yeah, he's a lying con man, just like you guys always said. So here we are. Sorry, I got to call Maddie. I just hate the dude. Trump derangement syndrome? Fine. Whatever. That's fine. Yeah. I just hate the dude. I don't know. What I hate more than hating the dude is that I hate that you people don't see it. That there are so many people who I like, who I enjoy, who are my friends, who are right now going, oh, shut the fuck up, Pugs. And that's fine. That's fine. I don't like that so many of my friends don't see the obvious flaws that I saw back in 1989. The opening line to his book, Art of the Deal, which is a book that I read back in college, the minute I opened that first page and read the opening line, I thought to myself, this guy's a fucking clown show. This guy, oh, I get it. This guy's an asshole. This isn't a book that is going to help me, a working class kid, maybe make it in this world. That's not what Art of the Deal is about. This is just about how this privileged piece of shit had a leg up on all of us, and now he's scoreboarding and end zone dancing. That's what Art of the Deal was. The first line is, I arrived in New York City with barely $5 million in my pocket. Or words to that effect. The point being, he was trying to be tongue-in-cheeky about how he didn't just get off some tramp steamer from Europe and, pitch a tent and start selling his wares. No, when he arrived in New York City, he only had a couple of $1 million in the bank, and it was supposed to be a joke. And it fell almost instantly to me, a 19-year-old reading this book, like, this guy's an asshole. Okay. So I've always known Trump is an asshole. I thought he was kind of a clown. I thought he was funny. I thought he was a fucking punchline like Screech or Danny Bonaducci. No offense to Danny, but, he was kind of a national punchline. That's what I thought Trump was, and then you people elected him. Ay, ay, ay. And now we have all this. Now we've got RFK Jr., a guy who used to fucking, shoot heroin. He's now in charge of the nation's health. Let's check in with Maddie. Maddie joins us every so often whenever she's got something good to talk about. And I think she's got something good because we're going to cast the Trump movie. Maddie is incoming.
Hello.
There she is. All right. Hi, Maddie.
Hello.
What's on your mind today?
Oh, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. You want to do the Iran war thing first?
What's the Iran war thing? See, we did not talk about the Iran war thing, Maddie. See, in our show prep.
The movie.
Yeah. Oh, the Trump stuff.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to do. I want to, first of all, you intrigued me. Let's do the RFK Jr. stuff. Tell me about RFK Jr. Okay, this is what is going on with him, because I don't talk enough about him, because I feel like he's just such a silly temporary blip on our cultural awareness. But go ahead, take it.
Well, you were talking about RFK and Kid yesterday, which we all agree is bizarre. And that video that they put out with those two psychopaths working out together, shirtless and jeans and cold plunging and drinking milk in the pool was so weird. But I knew of some other stories. So number one, Chelsea Handler went on Jimmy Kimmel not long ago, and she apparently, without knowing it, bought a house that RFK Jr. and Cheryl Hines owned in Brentwood, California. And the reason why she didn't know is because it was enrolled in a blind trust. And then after the fact, after she actually purchased the house, Cheryl Hines sent her a personal letter saying, we're so glad that you were the one that bought the house. Chelsea's response to that was, had she known it was RFK Jr.'s house, she probably wouldn't have bought it. And ultimately, she was unable to move into the house for over 4 years because the house had so many problems with it. She literally described the house as toxic.
Yeah. That's probably why in Brentwood it was in a blind trust. I mean, I know that's fairly common, but celebrities like to have their name attached to the house because they think it adds value to a civilian who might want to live in a house that was formerly owned by a celebrity. But in the case of RFK Jr. in 2025, 2024, whatever we're talking here, yeah, you might want to keep that a secret because I don't know if there's a lot of people who are buying houses in Brentwood or Beverly Hills that are pro Maha.
Well, this is pre-Maha. So
well, right, but
she hasn't been able to move into the house in the last 4 years.
But it's not like RFK Jr. just suddenly became a controversial figure. He had been a controversial figure dating back years. So, I don't know how well his name or his popularity is among his neighbors there in Brentwood. So I'm just trying to explain why Chelsea Handler might not have known why it was placed in a blind trust when all the time, or not all the time, but a lot of the time you hear about celebrities selling their homes because they want people to buy a home with increased value because, I don't know, Britney Spears lived there,
Yeah, sometimes, like I said, but largely why celebrities or famous wealthy people put those things in blind trusts is, first of all, California has some pretty extensive property taxes, things like that. So that protects them from having to pay some of those property taxes. But then also some of them are weirdly private.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. I just got a little distracted here. This is my fault. Maddie, I screwed our chemistry here being distracted by something going on in my personal life, but that's okay. We will dial in.
It's okay.
I apologize. Okay. All right, let's get to the fun part because this is really what I wanted to talk about. Yesterday, I was getting into this whole fantasy about what this TV show, because there has to be a Succession-like TV show created around this whole Trump family and all of this intrigue. I mean, it's just, even if it's 5 years from now or 10 years from now, this story will be told. And I was fantasizing about the cast and I was running into nothing but dead ends. And then I hear from my girl, Maddie, and she's like, oh my God, I've got this cast. I've come up with this idea. You did the legwork, so share it with us. Tell us what we've got here as far as a cast, a fantasy cast for the Trump family movie.
Well, this is really not a Trump family movie. I'm not going to take credit for this because I stumbled on this in a rabbit hole online, but somebody's already created a movie on like AI. It's obviously AI generated, but it's called Iran War, the movie, straight out of Hormuz, which I think is hilarious. And they have cast this Iran War, and they've picked some real life characters. It's not just, generated photography. It's real actors. And I did send you the link. I don't know if you want to play it. It's not very long. It's pretty funny.
Hold on. You keep telling me about it. I need time.
Okay. So they have cast Donald J. Trump as Liam Neeson.
Okay.
Netanyahu is being played by Paul Giamatti, which I kind of see that.
Wait, who's Paul Giamatti?
Netanyahu.
So I'm trying to pull up the video.
Yeah. They have the Ayatollah cast as Sir Ian McKellen. And the son of the Ayatollah is Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
Marco Rubio is Henry Golding.
I don't know who that is.
I'm gonna have to look him up too. He was the least recognizable one of all of this. And then Pete Hegseth is being played by Rob Lowe. But the two funniest casting choices that they made was J.D. Vance being played as Zach Galifianakis and Keir Starmer being played as Dame Judi Dench.
Okay, I see. Now I want to see it. Where did you send this to me? I can't find it anywhere.
It's in an email that I sent you this morning, as well as I did text it to you.
Yeah, okay. I can't get to either of those things right now. This is my fault.
Okay,
all right.
Let me copy paste it from the text, and I'll send it to you in Facebook.
Twitter, John. Twitter. Can you do it to Twitter? Twitter is the easiest. I've got it open. I'm looking at it right here.
Okay, let me see if I can, because I don't Twitter that much. But let me see here. Okay.
All right, then Facebook is fine. Do my new Facebook page. Go ahead, because now I got that open. We're good. I want to watch this. I'm fascinated by it now, and I should have been prepared. There she is. All right. Thank you. We heard it. There we go. All right, let me pull this up. So this is, once again, this is a fake AI movie that's already been cast.
Iran War, straight out of Hormuz.
All right. We got to definitely see. What? I can't make it bigger. That's what she said. Why can't I make it bigger? God damn it. See, why isn't this on YouTube? That's what I was trying to find. And I can't rewind it. I hate Facebook's little controls. Here, we'll just let it play. All right. See, there it is. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I want to play. See it? There is nowhere to make it bigger, and there is no. Here's the sound. That's good. There's no way to rewind it. How do I rewind it? Is this like an Instagram thing?
If anything happens,
I hate Facebook. I hate Meta. This is why Twitter is so much easier. All right. I don't know how to restart it. Do you? Do you know how I back it up?
That's pretty much at the beginning.
Well, right. But shouldn't I be able to back it up? Why can't I back it up? Every other platform lets me back it up. Why can't I? Because fucking Reels and Meta sucks. All right, let's just watch. It's small. Ugh.
continue my work. We're only 2 weeks away. I will continue to shut up.
Who's that? See, I can't pause it either. Oh, this is a nightmare. All right, never mind. I can't. I wanted to talk about it.
It's funny too, like the scenes with Zach Galifianakis, and he kisses AOC in the hallway. It's funny.
Yeah, why isn't it on YouTube?
I thought I found it on YouTube. Let me see. I think the link I sent you is no. If you pull up your email one, that is one I sent you. It is in. Hold on. Okay, let me see. Jesus Christ. Let me go to another spot because I did find it on YouTube, and that's what I sent to you in your email. Okay. Damn it.
It doesn't matter. Move on. Wait, move on. We're taking too much time.
Okay. The next thing that I would have to move on to would be here we go. I found it on YouTube. Okay, hold on. Call copy link address. Here we go. Boom. Boom. YouTube. Bam.
All right. That's a YouTube video. There's the YouTube. This will be better.
Sir.
There it is. All right.
About
Hold
to go
on.
nuclear.
Now we can watch it. All right. Look at you. You worked fast. You saved the segment. All right. Still don't know how to back this up. Still can't back it up. I hate these kinds of videos. What are these not on phones? What is this for Instagram? Like this format of this. I hate this kind of video. This doesn't look like a normal YouTube video. This is like somebody's Snapchat or Instagram video. It's, it's the wrong. How do I sound so old? What happened to me? Seriously.
Technology. Okay.
But it's not technology. Can we have some kind of universal format for content creators so we don't have to learn all these different layouts every single fucking time? I know this is a me thing. It's Friday, so I'm a little bit edgy. I got no plans. You got any plans this weekend? I got nothing. Yo, you're going to No Kings.
I'm going to go check out the No Kings, which I think is going to be pretty uneventful over here.
All right, here, maybe I can back it up. All right, here we go, guys. This is the movie. Now, again, this isn't the casting of the Trump family, but still, it's fun enough. So let's watch it. All right, here we go. All right. Nope, that's as big as it's gonna get. Sorry, baby, that's as big as it's gonna get. Now it's buffering because I had the audacity to back it up. We're talking with Maddie, and we're trying to watch a video. Yeah, so I mean, you're watching it buffering. I'm not. Oh, there now it is. All right, now it's back. The minute okay, here we go. Let's try and enjoy this.
Sir. They're about to go nuclear.
Okay, that's Paul Giamatti as Netanyahu, yes?
Yes, and Donald J. Trump as Liam Neeson.
Okay, well, we'll get to that. We're watching the video, so I'm just trying to point these out. All right, here we go. So it's Paul. That's pretty good. That, okay, that's good casting.
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
How long do we have?
All right, Liam Neeson. We didn't get a good look at him. We'll see him in a minute.
They're 2 weeks away. How 2 weeks away are they?
even more 2 weeks away than they were 5 years ago. My God! That's dangerous levels of 2 weeks away. I know.
All right, these are the Khomeini boys, I'm guessing. That's old dead Khomeini. That's Sir Ian McKellar.
Correct. And Jake Gyllenhaal is the son of the Ayatollah.
Okay, so the current guy, the guy who we were not seeing around much. All right, here's Jake Gyllenhaal.
Son, if anything happens to me, continue my work. We're only 2 weeks away.
I will point out that he looks just like he did in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, yeah, he does.
They pulled back his costumes from Lord of the Rings, said this will do.
Same thing, same energy.
Now I'll go to where no one can find me.
And sounds like
what's that?
I said it sounds like him. He has no Iranian accent, no Persian. He sounds like Lord of the Rings guy.
Yeah, he's just talking like who's that? What's that guy's name? That's not Gandalf. Where's Gandalf from? Is he from Harry Potter? I confuse Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings.
Gandalf is Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Okay.
On the 3rd floor, right by that really big window. Vengeance! Sir, if we attack, they will close.
All right, who's this? I don't know. Who's Henry Golding?
That I don't know. I'm gonna have to look him up, but he's playing Marco Rubio. But he looks like him. I don't know what he's been in before though. Let me check.
He's not a real person. He's not a real person. They made him up. He's an AI
He's a British actor. He's a British actor. Okay. He's been in nothing I've ever seen.
No, I've never even heard his name before.
They don't have the ball.
All right, I'm not loving Liam Neeson as Trump. Not loving it.
Yeah, they could have done better with that one.
Yeah, the best casting so far is definitely Paul Giamatti as yeah.
To close the Strait of Hormuz. They just closed the Strait of.
Nope, don't love it. Don't love it. That's not even how Pete Hegseth's hair is.
And I think Rob Lowe is a little old to genuinely play him.
It looks like Rob Lowe is playing John Hamm. That's what this looks like. This looks like Rob Lowe is playing. And as John Hamm, Rob Lowe. Yeah. This looks nothing like Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, the two throwaway castings here are the Rubio casting and the Hegseth casting, but the Vance casting and the Keir Starmer casting are hilarious.
All right, here we go.
And oil is now over $100 a barrel. Please keep me out of this. No one likes.
Okay, all right, that's JD Vance. It's Zach Galifianakis. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I want to be president one day. Come on, send a boat or something.
You're the most powerful military in the world.
That's Judi Dench?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Man, cast a woman as Keir Starmer. My God, the humiliation, the ritualistic humiliation of Sir Keir Starmer continues. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
You sent your own boats.
That was a test. Ha! You fell right into my trap. Sometimes the best reason for war is no reason at all.
So they don't say that that's AOC, but tell me that that's not leaning into AOC in the hallway.
She looked a little heavy for AOC. I was trying to figure out who it was. I thought maybe it was Usha. But I don't. Let me see. All right, we'll see that again. We'll see if that's AOC. Hold on. Let me give it a better look. I did not get AOC. I thought
You
Usha.
didn't get AOC from that? Okay, well then,
but hold
maybe
on.
some poor intern in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know.
Yeah, but that seems like that would be wasted AI. Like they would want every character depiction to be somebody that we recognize. So it is probably supposed to be somebody. I just do not. I do not. It might.
I went to AOC because it's obvious he's trying to convince her that this war is a good idea, and obviously AOC is anti this Iranian war. So I mean, who else could it be? It doesn't look like Boebert. It doesn't look like anybody else that I could put together.
All right, let's watch.
Sometimes the
That is not supposed to be AOC. That looks nothing like her cheeks. She's too cheeky. No, this is, but look, I'm not saying that that's not who they are intending it to be. What I'm saying is I, as a viewer, am not saying that's a good AOC. It doesn't even register with me as AOC. That may be their intent though. So you might be right there.
Best reason for war is no reason at all.
All right, there you go. That's the movie. Yeah, that's not exactly what I was looking for, but that was pretty cool. Thank you for finding that. I want to see now a success. Who's an AI guy? I'm seeing these AI things everywhere, like, backstage at Woodstock, recreated through AI. Rob Reiner walks through his entire career, recreated with AI. I want to see, why can't we do that with the Trump family Succession style? I want somebody to make an AI Trump family Succession style trailer like that. That would be fun, because then we would get to see who they're casting as Jared, who they're casting as, Ivanka and Eric and Tiffany and all of them. That'll be fascinating. Anyway, I'm not good at AI, but I'm just throwing it out there for those of you who are. You know who's good at AI, Maddie?
Who's that?
Frank Smith. Frank Smith in the chat room. He's always doing all kinds of crazy AI stuff. All right, what else you got? I understand that you have some, in closing here, some Shia LaBeouf updates. You are our chief Shia LaBeouf correspondent, being down there in New Orleans, where Shia LaBeouf is. What's the latest going on with him?
Well, Shia LaBeouf is terrorizing the neighborhood again. So I remember a couple of weeks ago when all this started to click with Shia, I told you that I felt like I could pretty much figure out where he lives, which house he bought. And I figured it out, because today's story that broke was about him living in a neighborhood close to a New Orleans tennis club that he's not a member of. And the members of this tennis club are upset with him because he's harassing them. When I got that little piece of the puzzle, I was able to triangulate exactly into what house he bought. I did send you the link in your email, but you might not be able to pull it up. Obviously, I don't want to say what his exact address is, but the pictures of the house are kind of interesting.
Say his exact. What are you worried about? One of us, like 10, gonna go? No, you shouldn't have to worry about that. Here's what I didn't understand throughout all of this. I thought he was just visiting New Orleans. I didn't realize that he had purchased a home and was placing roots there in the community. So this is gonna be a full-time thing you're gonna have to be covering.
Oh, yeah, and he's doing stuff constantly. No, he bought a house on December 15th, and the neighborhood he bought this house in is a very old money neighborhood that's also got some gentrification that's happening, but like white people gentrification, because it's not where a black neighborhood is getting gentrified by white people. This is old money getting gentrified by new money. Right. So he bought this house. Now, this house is $1 million house. I mean, by our standards or some normal person's standards, that's a pretty nice house. However, he's got probably the smallest house on the block. And there's also within walking distance a bar that he seems to be frequenting called Le Bon Temps Roulette. And he was there the night before getting drunk with his shirt off. And that was reported by TMZ. And he got into another altercation. And then the next day.
Wait a second. Hold on. Let me stop you right here, because I'm a barman of the highest order. I used to work bars. I managed bars. So you are telling me that Shia LaBeouf has started fights and gotten into trouble at his corner tavern?
That's right.
That is a rookie mistake. You can't do that. The corner tavern is where you're on your best behavior, because when you do get kicked out all the other places on Bourbon Street or wherever the hell he's running around, you need somewhere to come back to. And you don't want to be banned within steps of your front door. That's a bad rookie mistake. He's truly out of control, is my point.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, he's on almost like a house arrest situation with the court. In fact, last month, he asked for special permission to leave the country. He went to Rome. He asked the judge for permission. The judge denied his initial request and then granted it on the second go round, because he said he had to go to Rome for his father's baptism, which is weird. The whole time he was in Rome, he was getting in trouble, starting fights with people. There's several videos floating around where he was harassing people in the hotel he was staying at, looking for a match to light a cigarette inside the like waiting area. And then he was out at an outdoor cafe screaming at a lady who was sitting at the table next to him, who was literally doing nothing. She was literally sitting there drinking coffee. I don't know what he was screaming at her about.
Literally doing nothing. She was probably giving him dirty looks. What are you saying? He's just accosting people for no reason? I bet she shot him a dirty look, and he went off because he's nuts. Most people get dirty looks from people all the time, and we just walk, it's not a big deal. But he's crazy and drunk. So,
I hear what you're saying, but the video that I saw was him sitting with his back against the wall, facing her table, and her staring straight ahead.
Barney's got a great point. Barney says it sounds to him like fighting Shia LaBeouf is becoming another tourist attraction for New Orleans.
Well, and you know what? Look, New Orleans has a pretty high threshold for fuckery. I could agree with that, but not in this neighborhood. In this neighborhood, Shia LaBeouf is the white trash. No doubt about it.
Yeah, but he's not really, because he's also the movie star, which means he's always going to be invited to the coolest of the parties on the block because everybody wants the movie star there.
I reject that premise altogether.
Oh,
like
you're
I
nuts.
said,
You're nuts.
I'm telling you right now, they don't like him. If there's an HOA there, he's probably going to get in trouble. Like the tennis club is already filing harassment charges against him.
All right, maybe. All right. I just think, I know rich people, they will put up with a lot, especially with a celebrity. There was go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, New Orleans is weird about the celebrity thing because we have a Hollywood of the South.
Yeah, you get a lot of them because of Mardi Gras, because of, the reputation as being a party place. Yeah.
And largely unaffected. Like there, when Hollywood of the South was happening in big time, whenever the state rolled back a bunch of taxes and stuff like that, I was living in New Orleans, and we're so used to, like streets being blocked off for weird things that nobody really noted it. Like nobody cared about it. You would drive by and be like, oh, what's going on? Oh, whatever, fuck it. Like there wasn't lines of people trying to get autographs or weird stuff like that, like largely unaffected. The city of New Orleans is kind of weird in that way. There's always something happening. There's always some party, some parade, some second line with a funeral going down the street.
Yes, it's your brand. That is what people expect, and you make a lot of money on tourism dollars, and so that's what people expect. All right, thank you, Maddie. You are going to a No Kings protest tomorrow?
It's in walking distance of my house. Yeah, and it's at a little park. They, when the No Kings rally happened back in October, it was an unofficial one that was kind of organized here at Lake Charles, but this time it's on their website as a authorized location. I don't think it's going to be much, I'll be honest with you, but if the weather's pretty, my thought was I would take my dog for a walk and just go walk down there and just see if there was anything that I thought was, crazy or what have you. If there's anything interesting that happens, I'll snap a few pictures or whatever, but I'm not going to be protesting, so to say.
Well,
but,
there is no, this is just show up. This is just bodies. This is just what all they want is for people to just come out, spend a moment and show up. Your participation in showing up is all that's required. They're trying to show, a sheer force of number.
Solidarity, right? Yeah. And it's just from 11 to 2. I think it's going to be lightly attended. It's probably going to be a few people with some poster board out there, and wearing funny hats. And
here's why it's not my thing. Okay, again, I already talked about the parking. I'm at an age now where parking can really wreck a mood for an entire night. I have ruined evenings recently because I just hadn't been able to get out of my bag after a disappointing parking experience. The other thing is, I'm at the age where bathrooms and location of bathrooms is of the utmost importance to me. So I worry about where I'm going to urinate. And before that, I worry about where I'm going to park. So I'm pretty much done with this. I will be monitoring. I will be tweeting, maybe even live streaming. We'll see if anything super big happens, but I will be at home base monitoring this while you guys all go out and show your patriotism.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what Adam and Peter and Jennifer's experiences were at their respective No Kings rally. Again, I think that theirs are going to be much bigger in attendance. Again, I'm in, deep red MAGA territory. I doubt it's going to be much, and cars might drive by and honk at the people, or they might get flipped the finger. I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be much. I don't think there's going to be a riot. I don't think there's going to be anything crazy.
And I'll leave you with this. Byron says, "Tard's got a tard."
Well, of course he does say that.
All right. Thank you, Maddie. We'll talk to you maybe on Monday. We always enjoy talking to Maddie. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thanks.
All right. There she goes. That's Maddie. She's going to fight for her right tomorrow. Maybe you will as well. Let's see. What else do we have here? One more time, I want to remind everybody that we have an executive producer on today's show. What is the executive producer? Why, that's the person who tipped the show to the greatest extent on the previous day. So today, if you tipped better than anybody else, you will be Monday's executive producer. With that said, I don't think we've gotten any tips yet, but that doesn't take any of the sheen off of what Peter did yesterday. So thank you so much, Peter. There you go. You can drop a little something there if you need. Like, follow, subscribe, comment. I don't know. Go, stand on the street corner and hold up a sign. Help promote the show if you can in any way that you can. All right, let me talk about this Bernie Sanders deal. I teased you about this. This is a tag team bill that is being offered up there in our look. You think we got a lot of important shit going on, right? We got a war, we got gas prices, we got an economy in the tank, we got a president who is enriching himself and all of his friends right out in the open. They are raiding the hen. We have no eggs. All the eggs are gone. So you might be asking yourself, why would independent senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders, and a congressperson, Greg Casar of Texas, why would they be joining up to push a bill in the United States Congress called the Home Team Act? Okay, so this is the Home Team Act. Bernie Sanders and United States Representative Greg Casar, who's from a Texas district outside Austin. The Home Team Act would require the owner of a sports team to give a year's notice of plans to relocate, giving the community a chance to buy the team at fair market value. This is the Home Team Act that is being pushed by Bernie Sanders and Democratic Congressman Greg Casar. Now, I don't know that it's important, certainly not given the weight of some of the things I said they should be concentrating on. But guess what? There is a lot of different varieties of sausage that get made in our Congress, and this is just another one, and I support this. This is a great deal. And you might be wondering, well, why does Bernie Sanders give a shit about football? He doesn't seem like that kind of a guy. Well, it's not that he cares about football. What Bernie Sanders cares about is limiting the power of billionaires whenever he can. And that is exactly what this deal does. The Home Team Act will require an owner who is maybe getting a little butt hurt being down there in, let's say, St. Louis. Let's use St. Louis. Because St. Louis has had, a couple of teams move. They had the Cardinals move. They had the Rams move. So let's take a city like St. Louis. If the owner is like, I can make more money in San Antonio, let's just move to San Antonio. This bill is going to make that not nearly as easy as it was. Lost my point. It's going to make it harder for billionaires to just fuck over fans. There you go. That's it in a nutshell. This is also being called the Keep the Bears in Chicago Act. Okay. And that's why it's kind of a big story here in Chicago, because we're all wondering why the hell a Democrat from Austin and Bernie Sanders is at all interested in what's happening with the Chicago Bears. And I reject it on the premise of this bill being somehow related to the situation going on in Chicago. situation going on with the Bears is that there are 2 locations that are being offered for a new stadium. One location absolutely sucks and is in Arlington Park, Illinois, or Arlington Heights, Illinois. It's way up on the north side. It is inconvenient to everybody, but it'll be really convenient for all the rich people up in north suburbs who don't want to drive downtown to go to Bears games anymore. So they are moving the Bears out of the city of Chicago and into a suburb that is just basically going to placate a bunch of pricks. And by the way, make it so much fucking harder for people on the south side or northwest Indiana to get to Bears games. Fuck us, though. That's the attitude. Screw them foggy bottom Southsiders. All right, I got to disconnect my phone because it's just kind of going nuts. So anyway, I am pro Chicago Bears moving to Northwest Indiana. Totally pro. I don't want the Chicago Bears to stay in Illinois and play in Arlington Heights because that's a shitty fucking location. The location in Northwest Indiana is like 12 miles from where they play now. So the Chicago Bears play on the lakefront in the city of Chicago. The new proposed stadium in Northwest Indiana is across the street from the city of Chicago. It is literally 12 miles away, closer to where I live, closer to the entire south suburbs. But you see, you cross an arbitrary line drew up by men. So now suddenly you're in a different state. And that means something. They can't be the Chicago Bears anymore if they're playing 5 miles from downtown Chicago. They have to be the Indiana Bears. Shut up. It's a stupid argument. So I reject this bill as it pertains to somehow helping the Chicago Bears, because that's a regional argument that needs to be played out. It's a stupid argument. Outsiders are like, the Bears are leaving Chicago. No, they're not. They're moving 12 miles from Soldier Field. By the way, the in Illinois location, keep the Bears in Illinois. The in Illinois location is like 30 miles from where they currently play. The location that's out of state that would change everything is 12. The one that's in the state is 30 miles away. So, stop with it's all dumb people from out of the market who don't understand what's actually happening here. Northwest Indiana is the Chicagoland area. Everybody in Northwest Indiana are Bears fans, Bulls fans. They listen to Chicago radio. They get Chicago TV. If you're in Gary, Indiana, and you put your fucking TV on, guess what you're watching? Chicago news. It's a suburb, but because it's a different state, people are making a big deal about it. Now, Bernie Sanders doesn't give a shit about that, and neither does this guy from Austin. But what they do care about, it seems, is screwing it to the billionaire class. And that's what this Home Team Act is going to do. Because now, instead of an owner of your favorite team being able to just ruin your childhood by moving them to some new Sunbelt city, they're going to have to wait a year. And not only they're going to have to wait a year before, they're going to have to announce their intent to move. And then there has to be 1 year where the community, now this is a Green Bay Packers thing. You have to understand how the Green Bay Packers run. The Green Bay Packers are an NFL team that is not privately owned. The Green Bay Packers are publicly owned. The Green Bay Packers offer shares to the community, and they own the team. It's why Green Bay, a city of like 5,000 people, has an NFL team. Because this all happened a very long time ago, and Green Bay was grandfathered in. They made a rule in the NFL that said the teams have to be owned privately. Green Bay, being one of the founding teams, was grandfathered in and allowed to continue. And if that wasn't the case, if Green Bay was owned by private ownership, the Green Bay Packers would have moved to San Francisco in 1960. Because you can't make money the way you can in San Francisco, New York, Chicago, St. Louis, a real bona fide NFL market. Can't make that money in Green Bay. Nobody lives in Green Bay. But private ownership, you can, because the citizens, the people, the fans, the folks of Wisconsin, they own that team. So this is what Bernie Sanders and Greg Kasser from Texas are saying in this bill. They're saying, let's allow that to happen more. Let's allow for cities to have right of first refusal when an owner decides that they're going to move their team to a different city. Instead of just destroying the childhood of so many, seriously. It's a kind of a rough thing. You watch your team leave. I can tell you, I came really close. It was like in the early 80s or something, and the White Sox were rumored to be moving to Florida. And I remember staying up all night and watching on live local television all night. They were live from the Illinois General Assembly at midnight, where they're frantically trying to pass this bill that would create an avenue for the White Sox to stay in Chicago, and it passed. But I will tell you, as a little kid, for the weeks leading up to that, oh my God, it was like the trauma. It was like my personal trauma of my childhood, which is funny considering my father was murdered. But the White Sox leaving scarred me, or the prospect that they were going to leave scarred me. So I get this. The argument will be, the argument on behalf of the billionaire owners will be, well, this is absurd because these teams are products. You wouldn't force Pepsi to wait a year before they build a new bottling plant somewhere. Well, that's what these teams are to us. We own these teams. These are our products, and we can move them wherever we want because of capitalism. And Bernie Sanders and this guy from Texas is saying, no, fuck you. What the Dallas Cowboys mean to the people of Dallas is far different than what Pepsi or a soda product means to the people of Dallas, right? Same goes for the people of Jacksonville or the people of Carolina or wherever, whatever cities are often rumored to be next in the rotation. Are there any cities that are talking about moving? I know that Jacksonville's always looking to move. Jacksonville, it's always like they're going to London, or there'll be a second team in Chicago. That was the nonsense when the Bears were abandoning Soldier Field. They're like, well, Jacksonville could move in. Ain't nobody going to watch a Jacksonville Jaguars game in Chicago. We don't care where they're playing. They're not our team. So that's what this bill does. Senator Bernie Sanders and Texas Rep. Greg Casere want communities to be able to buy sports teams before billionaire owners try to move them. I just think that this is a great idea. They're going to allow that 1 year period to be for some kind of nonprofit group in the community to rise up and purchase the team, a la the Green Bay Packers situation. Or they're also going to allow that 1 year period to be for recruitment of outside private equity to buy the team, another private ownership comprised of people in the community to buy the team. I think this is great. Bernie Sanders does not give a shit about the Chicago Bears Stadium situation. That is not what this is about. What Bernie Sanders gives a shit about is fucking with billionaires. And that's what this deal does. It fucks with billionaires. It says, yes, you own the team, but that team means something that cannot be quantified to the people and the citizens of this community. So yes, you own the team, but not in the way that you'd own a bottling plant. I love it. All right, there you go. That's the new Bernie Sanders and Greg Casere bill, the Home Team Act. It'll probably go nowhere, but it is a great idea. Look at that cynicism from me. It'll probably go nowhere. All right, let's move on. I'm losing my voice. I'm not losing my voice because I'm sick. I'm losing my voice because of the weird weather that we're having here in Chicago. It was like 80 degrees a couple of days ago, and now it's like 38. And so my sinuses and my allergies go crazy when we cannot settle on a certain environment for more than, say, 72 hours. We need like some kind of consistency. Otherwise, I start to lose my voice like this. All right, let's talk about this study that's very concerning to me. I've got a 16-year-old son, and I understand that my 16-year-old son's experience growing up as a teenager in America is quite different than the one that I enjoyed in the 1980s. It's a different world. It's a completely different kind of set of experiences, and honestly, you're not a bad parent for feeling helpless and not having the slightest idea of how to sort of connect with your kid these days, because they've all become dopamine addicts with their phones and their tablets and their friends on their Discords and all that stuff. It is difficult for parents who were raised. See, parents used to always be able to sit down at little Johnny's bedside and relate and connect in some level, because at the core, at the base, we all had a lot of the same shared adolescent experiences. You know, someone who grew up in the 1950s had the same nerves about girls and all that kind of stuff that someone who grew up in the 1970s and the 1990s did. But those shared experiences are not the same anymore. I don't know how do you advise your child about online bullying right? How do you, I mean, that is not something that we've ever had any experience with. And it's why I've said recently a number of times that I feel that this entire generation, Gen Z, all of them, men, women, but men in particular, this entire generation is a lost generation. We don't know how to balance raising children in the digital age where everything is a dopamine hit. Everything is potential. Scroll, scroll, scroll. We don't know how to manage that yet. We're fucking it up. We at first didn't even know it needed to be managed until we realized that our kids were turning into zombies. But now, as we say, we've crossed the Rubicon. This generation is the canary in the coal mine, and we're just going to have to try and manage whatever this becomes. One of the other problems that we're seeing here, and this is the story that I want to talk to about young men in this society and talk about being a completely different experience. Young men today are experiencing, men under 24. This was done to 18 to 24-year-old men. 18 to 24-year-old men are experiencing erectile dysfunction in numbers that have never been seen before. This was not a thing in the 90s. This was not a thing in the 80s. There weren't kids going to dick doctors because they couldn't get wood. It's happening now. This entire generation. Now, you might cynically say, well, Pugs, that's because there's a pill for it now. They weren't diagnosing it back then because there wasn't a way to make any money off that problem. But now they're diagnosing it left and right because they can sell pills. And that might be partially true. But that is certainly not the driving force behind this. The driving force behind this is something that I've been talking about for a very long time. Years and years and years, in fact. Decades. It's pornography. I'm not anti-pornography. Don't get it twisted. I'm not calling for the end of pornography. I have a lot of friends who are involved in that industry. Over the course of our shows, how many porn stars have come on our show and hung out with us for days on end? We got a lot of friends in the industry, a lot of people. They're not, it's a business. Honestly, I guess it all depends on your view of sexuality, but it's just a business. It's just normal people. So I'm not anti-porn. What I am is anti-access to porn by people who should not be accessing porn. Again, this is another one of those situations where you can't sit at Johnny's bedside and say, well, I can remember when I was your age and I would steal Granddad's old Playboy magazine from the garage and I would go out back by the woodshed. I remember once I was out delivering papers and it was early in the morning and I saw old Mrs. Jenkins through the back window. She was in her bra and panties. 12-year-olds know about fucking gangbangs now. Okay? It's a little different. How do you even relate? Young men, because of how easily accessible pornography is, young men are being absolutely ruined before they finish puberty. And by ruined, what do I mean? I mean their sexual expectations will never be met. You think, look, and this is also a problem that's happening with old married men. Erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction in personal relationships is at an all-time high. Why? Because sometimes it's difficult to get hard, when you're laying next to a woman that you love and is the mother of your children, but you've been with her for 25 years, and there's a 22-year-old fucking 10 on Pornhub that you could go into the bathroom and take care of yourself with. My point is this. Men aren't getting sexually excited by real women anymore because of the imagery, because of the endless imagery of pornography in the way women are presented and how every woman has giant fake boobs. And it is having an effect on real world sexual relations. And we're seeing this among young men. Young men can't get hard. Young men, new married men can't get hard. They're not attracted to their wives. Younger men are increasingly facing troubles in the bedroom, with studies suggesting that more than 3/4 of men I got to be reading that wrong. Younger men are increasingly facing troubles in the bedroom, with studies suggesting more than a quarter of men under 40 cannot get or maintain an erection firm enough for satisfying sex. 6 urologists and 2 sex therapists who reported seeing a steady stream of men in their 20s and 30s seeking help for ED, with even younger patients being added into the mix. They say, we're clearly seeing an increase in concern by older teenagers that they have erectile dysfunction, said Dr. Lane Palmer, chief of pediatric urology at Northwell Cohen Children's Medical Center. He goes on to say that we are getting 1 or 2 calls a week at this point. All right, so that's just one teen urology place that's getting like 1 or 2 calls a week from kids, men, young men, who should be, isn't that the old trope that, a young man, you can dry the laundry off of him because he's always ready to go? Well, that's not the case. It says here, so what's behind the surge of young men in their sexual prime struggling with performance? The experts say that a very large portion of the erectile dysfunction in younger men is what's called psychosomatic. It's basically stress and or anxiety induced, said Dr. Leon Tellis, a board-certified urologist and director of men's health at Mount Sinai Hospital. Much of the stress these young people are enduring comes from the constant messages about sex that young men get from friends, social media, and endless pornography. In the U.S., 57% of young adults aged 18 to 25 say they watch porn at least once a month. That's a lie. 57%. Okay, so the age group. Let's talk about young men between 18 and 25. Only half will admit that they watch porn once a month. I'm sorry, that age group, from what I understand, that age group, 18 to 25, they are watching porn multiple times per day. At least once per day. At least once per day they're using it, because that is the average. Most young men in that age group masturbate at least once a day. So they're using porn at least once a day. They're only 57% are willing to cop to looking at it once a month. That number is really low, so let's ignore that. Although they are trying to use it to alarm us. It says here, 57% of young adults age 18 to 25 admit to watching porn at least once a month. One survey found that 2/3 of Gen Z began watching porn before the age of 15. Yes. See, now this is another thing that we can't relate to. I was probably in my 20s the first time I saw pornography. It wasn't readily available the way it is now. And what does that do to a young man? And I'm not talking about women here. I'm sure that there are issues that we need to be concerned about with our women as well. But I am talking about young men in here, because that is the specifics of this study. A young man's sexual appetites and expectations are being unrealistically set. So that when they get into the real world and they start having sex and they realize that they can't do the gymnastic stuff that they're seeing, and that, this girl isn't nearly as hot as the girl that he saw in the video. And now suddenly there's stress and there's anxiety and actually have the sound effect for losing an erection. Look at that. Dr. Tishma often sees a pattern. He says that young men have no problem getting erections in the morning or while masturbating, but the moment they try to be intimate with another person, their penises don't rise to the occasion. Now, this is also another situation that we may find out is due to how nothing is done face-to-face by these generations anymore. They get nervous face-to-face. In real-world situations, they're not nearly as comfortable as they are when they're talking shit to somebody on a screen. It's the Gen Z stare. It's the, we are not really good at interacting face-to-face. You know what I asked my son? I said, what is your lunchroom like at high school? My son goes to high school. What's your lunchroom like? Because my lunchroom in high school was nuts. There were people hopping tables. Everybody was talking, blah, blah, blah. There was music going. Because I imagine high schools in modern America are just pretty quiet and everybody's like this. Told me I wasn't that wrong. We were watching, it was Animal House. That's where this came, the food fight scene in Animal House. I'm like, you guys ever have a food fight? And I started to ask them about, what his high school was like. They don't, it's not the same at all. Anyway. All right, let's go on. Let's see. It says, Dr. Tishma says it ends up being a lot of stress, anxiety, and psychological issues that are keeping men from being able to show up in their body how they want when they're interacting with another person in real life, the doctor said. While watching porn isn't automatically a bad thing. That's true. It is not a bad thing. Sexuality is not a bad thing, okay? How you manage it and an understanding that your personal sexuality is your personal sexuality and it doesn't need to be amplified publicly because a lot of people aren't as comfortable with their sexuality as you may be. As long as you understand that, there's nothing wrong with pornography. Reasonable, grown-up, mature adults should be allowed to explore their sexual side in any way they see fit as long as it doesn't, again, affect me or strangers or people who didn't sign up for that. The doctor says here, Dr. Palmer here, says pornography is often an exaggeration of sexuality. Now with AI, who knows what kind of imaging and messaging are going to be created. And that's just going to stir up even more anxiety and more concern for young men. Dr. Randall knows, I'm sorry, not Dr. Randall. It's, one of the people, one of the kids who has, I guess his name is Randall. All right, so one of the kids who is having this problem, who is, these doctors are talking about. Randall knows this struggle firsthand. He went to his doctor with concerns about ED, erectile dysfunction, and all the tests came back normal. Yet the problem persisted. He says, I would definitely say that it was due to my anxiety and my porn exposure. I was exposed to porn at a very young age, Randall said. Higher rates of ED to men who began watching porn early in life have been charted now for about a decade. Okay. So there, the last line there absolutely tells us what's going on here. When your 12-year-old horny little teen boy discovers the porno, or discovers it, I'm sure they're talking about it in the lunchroom when they're not, buried in their phones. When your 12-year-old discovers it, studies now for 10 years have shown that he probably is going to have some kind of erectile dysfunction when he starts his actual sexual life. Again, this entire generation, man, everything has changed. Everything has changed so drastically in the last 20 years in this society. We've got an entire generation that was just, they dealt with things that we had no idea were things until they were bad things. And now we're like, oh, you mean that was dangerous? Kind of like, allowing 10-year-olds to smoke in the 1920s. Oh, that was dangerous? What do you mean? I shouldn't have, my kid, he works the overnight shift. He's 9 years old. You telling me he can't smoke? That was a bad thing? Shouldn't have done that? That's where we are now. What, you letting my kid have access to the internet before he was 18? That was a bad thing? I shouldn't have done that? I hope we get to that place. I hope we get to that place where the internet is a grown-up thing, where it is an adult thing, and we can stop worrying about how access to all the world's evils could possibly affect little Johnny. Anyway, all right, so we did that. Let's see what my voice is dying. Sorry, guys. Oh, what else do we want to talk about here? All right, I'll tell you what. Let's wrap the show up with this. We'll wrap it up the way we started. We were talking about the No Kings protests that are going on from coast to coast tomorrow. I will not be attending. I will certainly be supporting in spirit. But seriously, don't want to deal with parking. Don't want to get out in the middle of a field somewhere around 500,000 people and go, where's the porta potty? And then find the porta potty. And there's like a line of like 100 other people, all with like bad bladders. Then the workaround there is like I bring some kind of a Gatorade bottle or something and just pee right there in the middle of the crowd. So I'm going to pee in the crowd for America. And then somebody will see it. They'll be like, oh, gross, that old man has his penis out. And then they'll be like, sexual predator. And then I'll get the shit kicked out of me. They'll be stomping on me. And I'm peeing all over myself. It'll be horrible. So I ain't going. I ain't going because those things are very real possibilities. I want to talk about this though, because I was going to do it yesterday, but I thought I shouldn't do it yesterday because I did a pretty significant teardown of Kid Rock, and I didn't want to do the Kid Rock versus Bruce. Bruce is involved in this No Kings thing. This is why I think it's going to be a little bit different. I think it'll be a little bit different because Bruce Springsteen has announced a world tour. World tour. He's announced an American tour. Bruce Springsteen is going to be getting the band back together. By the way, some new moving parts in his band. Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine has officially joined the E Street Band for this tour. That's so cool. Tom Morello and Stevie Van Zandt. Really? That'll be good. What about Nils? Is Nils Lofgren still alive? Okay, Nils Lofgren. Is he still playing guitar in the E Street Band? And moving parts. A lot of guys in Bruce's band. Hold on. Is Nils Lofgren still playing guitar for the E Street Band?
Yes, Nils Lofgren, not Lundgren, is still playing guitar.
What did I say? Did I say Lundgren? That's Dolph Lundgren. All right, yeah, Nils Lofgren. So 3 guitar players now. That's 3 good guitar players, man. Stevie Van Zandt, Nils Lofgren, and now Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. All right, so this new tour is going to be specifically in cities where Bruce is going to rattle people up. That's what he's saying. He's like, it's going to be very political. Oh, what? You don't want us to get up on stage and do political stuff? No, it's going to be real fucking political. So buckle up. Got things to say. I love Bruce. Bruce represents the working man. He doesn't represent any political party. He represents the working man. All right, here's the story. Let's see. Where is it? What is this? Are these the dates? I think, maybe. All right, let's put the dates out there. Not coming to Dallas. Not gonna come to Dallas. It says, Bruce Springsteen says, I don't worry about losing fans over slamming Trump or the blowback. It's just part of it, and I'm ready for that, says Springsteen. My job is very simple. He goes on to say, I do what I want to do. I say what I want to say, and then people get to say what they want to say about that. Those are the rules of my game, and that's fine with me. I don't worry about it if you're going to lose this part of your audience. That's not a concern of mine. I've always had a feeling about the position we play culturally, and I'm still deeply committed to that idea of this and this band. The blowback is just part of it. I'm ready for it. The tour is going to be political and very topical about what's going on in this country. Minneapolis and St. Paul, that was the place I wanted to begin it. And I wanted to end it in Washington. That's Bruce Springsteen talking about this tour. Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, it's going to be political. Oh, no, you're not going to like it. But Bruce, man, born in the USA, I like it. Yeah, fuck you. I don't care. I'm Bruce Springsteen. Do you honestly think that I worry about erosion to my fan base? Do you think I'm looking 20 years down the road at my career thinking, well, my next 5 albums will probably suffer? No. He's Springsteen. He's above that. He doesn't care. He's already chiseled into a mountain of rock and roll legends here in America. He's with Dylan, and he's with, I don't know. Like, who else? Who else we putting up there? Elvis, begrudgingly. But yeah. All right. Here. The band is also going to be playing with a bunch of other people. Now, this is why it's going to be a cool thing. And by the way, this isn't Kid Rock not able to sell 200 tickets. It's going to be massive. Bruce Springsteen plays to 50,000 people when he opens up his backyard, okay? This is not a Kid Rock thing. This is going to be huge. He is putting on these massive concerts for these rallies. It's going to be huge. And you may not like it. And you may be like, well, I don't like Bruce Springsteen. He sucks. Well, guess what? Millions and millions and millions of people disagree with you. And that's fine. I think Kid Rock sucks, okay? Maybe you like Kid Rock. It's going to be big. And this is exactly the kind of thing that these movements need. These movements need something that is going to draw people who don't really give a shit about the issues, but they just want to be a part of the happening. And in order to do that, you need to have bands, you need to have things, you need to have fun. This is how the Vietnam War protests start. Do you honestly think that the 100,000 19-year-olds in 1969 really gave a shit? No, half of them were just looking to hook up and get high. You got to create a scene. You got to create a vibe. You don't need everybody to be radicalized, because when that happens, then you just got a bunch of weirdos. What you need is a collection of normal people just gathering together under the auspice of a cause. But really, their motivation is it's a nice Saturday, and I'm going to go hang out with a bunch of other young people, and we're going to have fun. Here are the tour dates. Oh, my voice is completely trashed at this point. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band have announced the Land of Hope and Dreams tour for 2026. It's a 20-date arena run that kicks off on March 31st in Minneapolis and includes with a stadium show in Washington, D.C. on May 27th. What do you think Bruce Springsteen's stadium show? I mean, if it's going to be 100,000 people easily, and there'll probably be another 100,000 people outside. Yeah, he's doing this very deliberately. He's like, it's time for me to use whatever it is that I can use to get this criminal in handcuffs. And I'm with him. March 31st, he opens up in Minneapolis. Then on April 3rd, he goes to Portland, Oregon. Preaching to the choir there, though, right? I mean, that's April 7th through April 9th. It looks like 2 dates in a row there at the Inglewood, California Forum, the Kia Forum. Why 2 nights in LA? Because that's where he's going to raise the money. Because he's going to go out there and he's going to spend 2 nights playing to these people in LA, and he's going to raise so much Hollywood money for this effort. That's what that's about. Then it's on to San Francisco on April the 13th. And then on April the 16th, Phoenix, Arizona at the Mortgage Matchup Center. Yeah, notice these aren't like county fairgrounds, okay? Those of you who are, like, going to counter protest by going to see Ted Nugent and fucking Kid Rock, yeah, you'll be going to fairgrounds, okay? These are major stadiums because Bruce is that much bigger than all the retards you guys are out there acting like are major stars. I do have a criticism, though, of this Bruce tour. On the 20th, 420, he's going to be in Newark, New Jersey. That'll be a huge one at the Prudential Center. It'll be his homecoming show. Then he's down in Sunrise, Florida on April 23rd. On April 26th, he's going to be in Austin, Texas at the Moody Center. On April 29th, he'll be here in Chicago at the United Center. Then he goes in May 2nd, Atlanta, Georgia, May 5th, Belmont Park, New York, May 8th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, May 11th, New York, May 14th, Brooklyn, New York. He's playing a number of shows in New York. May 16th, New York, New York. Oh, look at this. Look at these shows that he's doing in New York. On May 11th, he's going to be playing Madison Square Garden. That's massive. Those Bruce Springsteen Madison Square Garden shows are massive. And in this case, moneymaker. Then on the next night, he's going to Brooklyn and he's playing the Barclays Center. It's going to be another massive hall. And then it's back to Madison Square Garden for one more show on the 16th. He runs it out with, on May 19th, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, May 22nd, Cleveland, Ohio, May 24th, Boston, Massachusetts, and the tour ends on May 27th in Washington, D.C. As I said, he's going to be joined by other people. He's got Tom Morello added to the band. Let me show you something. And now let the criticisms begin, okay? Because now is this it? Let me see what this is. All right. Is this the announcement? Oh, it looks like, all right, here's the announcement. All right. Don't worry. I have some criticisms for those of you who are just like, Pugs and his Springsteen. All right. First, let's watch these. All right. I guess this is the official announcement. Hold on. Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Minneapolis, Portland, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Phoenix, Newark, Sunrise, Florida, Austin.
Just look at Silvio. I can never not see Silvio from The Sopranos. I just love it.
In Chicago, Atlanta, Belmont, Long Island, Philadelphia, New York, Brooklyn, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Boston, And Washington, D.C., the E Street Band is coming your way, and we are bringing hope over fear, democracy over authoritarianism, the rule of law over lawlessness, ethics over unbridled corruption, unity over division, and peace over war.
All right, there was the official announcement. During the official announcement that they did they do this? Is this hold on, let me see what this is. We'll watch a little bit of this. Can't play a whole lot of it because of music and trademark and all that kind of stuff. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. What's this? Hold on. I wanted to play a video because it was a video of the announcement. They jammed a little, and my criticism. All right, well, you know what? Jesus, too many windows. Tour dates. All right, never mind. It's lost. My point is this. It was Bruce Springsteen on stage. It was Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. He was joined on stage by Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine and Audioslave, who is now a member of the E Street Band. They were also joined on stage by Patti Smith, who is, the queen of New York Bowery punk. Patti Smith, quite the icon herself. Her big hit, Because the Night, made her career. That is a Bruce Springsteen song that Bruce gave to her back in the day. So she was out there with Bruce. And who else did we have? We had Michael Stipe from REM is also going to be participating in this tour. Eddie Vedder was not there, but Eddie Vedder is going to be participating in this tour. And of all of these names that they keep saying, because this is what you're going to expect when you go to see this Bruce show, you go to see it in Austin, you better damn well expect Willie Nelson to be there, because that's the drawing power of Bruce Springsteen. When Bruce Springsteen goes into these towns, he is expecting all of these towns' anointed rock and roll stars to join him on that stage. It's what he always does. I mean, it's how I've seen Don Henley. It's how I saw him with the horn section from the band Chicago when he played in Chicago. He just does this. So this is kind of part of what he's doing. He's going to be calling out other people to come join him at these shows when it's convenient. These are his tour dates. He will be in this town. Will you be there? Can you come up? Are you going to play with us? Are you going to support us? Bruce has that kind of power to say that to any other artist or musician in America. He can say, hey, I'd like you to jump up on stage. And they will all be like, yeah, with probably the exception of guys like Ted Nugent and Kid Rock, who he would never invite up anyway. Although I bet Bruce would invite Nugent up. I bet you Bruce would be okay with Nugent. I mean, he'd roll his eyes and think that Nugent's a troublemaker, but I bet you that there is some, but they kind of like each other. They're men of the same era. Kid Rock, no. I think like Bruce looks at Kid Rock and goes, really? Like, I think that's kind of his take on Kid Rock. Anyway, my thought was, you got to get a Taylor Swift involved here. I'm sorry. You cannot just trot out a whole bunch of fucking dinosaurs. I don't give a shit how much I love REM. I don't give a shit how much I love seeing Michael Stipe up there and how much I love Tom Morello and how much I love that he's joined the E Street Band and I love the E Street Band. I'm old. The things that I love are not the things that are going to move the needle anymore. So Bruce Springsteen up there with all of these legacy superstars and all of that stuff saying that we're coming to your town for justice and democracy, that's all well and good. But get me Harry Styles. Get me Taylor Swift to come up on stage at one of these things. Get me somebody that is going to resonate a bit more with, because these are all dinosaurs, right? I mean, I thought it was cool seeing Patti Smythe singing with Bruce. What were they singing? Did they sing War or something? I don't even know what it was. Do I have it? I don't want to play it anyway because we can't. We can't play it. It'll just get struck anyway. So, all right. Anyway, that's that with that. Now, how about this? We are heading into the weekend, so let me leave you with this story. This is a fellow. He's out there in this world. He's sharing oxygen with us. My God, my voice is totally gone. He's sharing oxygen with us. We drive on roads with this guy. You have your kid in your car and you get on a public highway knowing full well that this guy could be out there. These people are out there. All right, this is the story of a Florida man. All right. Apparently, he left an AA meeting He's doing the right thing, right? I woke up this morning and I went to an AA meeting. He woke up, he went to the AA meeting, and apparently things didn't go well. No details on all of that, but just judging by what happened next, he goes to the AA meeting, and for some reason, he then goes on a cocaine, alcohol, and pot binge. I don't think the AA meeting worked. That's not how they're supposed to. So he goes to an AA meeting. He leaves the AA meeting. He goes on a coke and booze binge. Then he gets in his car because he somehow convinces himself that people are chasing him in his house. He's doing all this in his house alone. Oh my God. Could you imagine doing cocaine alone? Why? Could you imagine doing cocaine with anybody that wasn't a stripper? I couldn't. I wouldn't see how that would work. Anyway, this guy's apparently just at his house drinking and doing cocaine alone, and he starts to think that there's somebody in his house. So he runs out of his house. He's like, I gotta get out of here. So he runs out of his house. He jumps in his car. He flies at crazy speeds down to a local airport where he bursts through the gates, the security gates of the airport. And then apparently he slammed into a plane, like drove into an airplane or something. Well, he said he nearly hit a plane that was taxiing. All right, we've got video. The police showed up. This is raw police body cam. And I'll tell you, having known, that's the history. That's what he did. Learning all of that about what he did, well, he seems fairly comfortable talking about it all, which is a good way to leave us on this weekend, this Friday. Don't let this be you, man. It's Friday. I know we could get a little wild out there. Don't let this be you. This guy did not handle his free time very well. All right, here. Yes, I would like to watch it again. All right, here we go. All right, so this is him. There he is right there. He looks like a normal guy. Remember, he woke up, went to an AA meeting, left the AA meeting, did a bunch of coke, and drank at his house, then was convinced that someone was in his house chasing him, so he drove to an airport where he tried to crash his car into a taxiing airplane. All right? And these are the police on the scene talking to him.
I said fucking anything. I was at my house.
They had a bunch of drugs,
I went to an AA meeting, and next thing I know, I'm doing cocaine, drinking, and smoking.
As a matter of fact, he is. But yeah, it's got officer. Thank you. I appreciate. Hey, sorry about all this, officer. Yeah, you know it's the darndest thing. I woke up and went to an AA meeting. Then did a bunch of coke. Did a bunch of drink, and I mean, he's like super. He's like, yeah, man. So this is what happens. And then I drove my car through an airplane gate, and we're here. So I wish I had a better explanation for you, officer, but that's where we are.
And next thing I know, I'm doing cocaine, drinking, and smoking pot. Lucky I didn't get on my fucking motor.
Can I just say, why is pot catching strays here? Well, pot didn't have anything to do with this, okay? This might be an alcohol and cocaine concoction. Sure, I can see how that might happen. The pot was a very minor player in all of this, okay? As a matter of fact, the pot probably stopped it from being even worse. The pot is probably what made you too lazy to stack all the explosives in the trunk before you tried to T-bone an airplane. That's what the pot did. So let's not let the pot catch strays here.
And smoking pot. Lucky I didn't get on my fucking motorcycle.
So you were doing all kinds of drugs and Rant?
Yeah, see, the pot was the reason he didn't get on his fucking motorcycle. If he was just doing straight coke, maybe a little meth, he'd be like, ning, 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 ning. He'd be dead right now. He'd be dead. But the weed made him comfortable. He wanted to sit in the car and listen to music. He didn't need all that. The pot saved his life.
Through a gate?
Lucky I didn't get on my fucking motorcycle.
So you were doing all kinds of drugs and ran through a gate?
Yeah, I crashed my car.
Car's right there. Is that an active runway then?
Yeah, that's an active taxiway right there.
The cop's like, wait. That's runway for he was driving on the runway?
Pete. Yeah. Pete paid me to do it.
What is he saying here? They paid me to do it. What is he?
Pete.
That's the way right here.
Fuck. Tate. Yeah. Tate paid me to do it.
Tate. Hate? What is he saying? Something paid me to do it. He's saying hate. They paid me to do it. Listen one more time.
Tate. Yeah. Tate paid me to do it. You're killing me, man.
Is he not wearing shoes? He ran out of his house with no shoes and then drove his car to an airport where he busted through the security gate and then tried to T-bone a plane while taxiing? He did that all without shoes. See, that's the pot again. See, he probably would, if he was all coked up, he probably would have put his shoes on, but he was stoned and he was like, oh man, I don't want to do my laces. And so he just walked and now he doesn't have shoes.
What happened? Do you have any other property on you, sir?
No, it's like, I don't think I have my wallet or anything. It's like your passport. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What happened?
I don't know. What's my car doing over there?
What's my car doing over there?
What's my car doing over there?
What's my car doing over there? Still.
What the fuck is my car doing over there? What gate did I get through? I don't fucking know either. Saying I knew I was at my house and people started chasing me. What's the name?
All right. Next thing I know, I'm in my house and people started chasing me. Went to an AA meeting. That was good. The day started off great. Went to the AA meeting, checked that box. And then, there was like a half hour I had nothing to do. So I did a bunch of coke. All right. Don't let him be you. It's a Friday. We can all have fun, but don't let him be you. All right, guys. I love you. Once again, thank you so much to our executive producer. Today's executive producer was Peter the Great. Thank you so much, sir. If you want to be Monday's executive producer, just tip the show more than somebody else. And I don't think anybody tipped today. So you've got the inside track at being Monday's executive producer. Well, we will be back on Monday. Thank you so much to Maddie. And okay, that's it. I got nothing else. Don't be that guy. Don't, if you go to an AA meeting, don't then do whole bunches of cocaine and alcohol and then go drive. Just don't do it. Bye, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.